Welcome into a Thursday edition on a Locals Thursday of Jazz Fest. Going to Jazz Fest.
What do you mean Locals Thursday?
That's what they call the Thursdays.
Really?
The boys.
You're going?
Yeah, you get it.
Who are you going for?
Leon Bridges plays this afternoon.
Really?
Santana plays at 5:30.
Oh, no
I
shoes.
didn't know that.
Taking a little jet.
Nice.
Culture.
Oh, Leon Bridges is going to be amazing.
5:20 this
live.
afternoon.
Go Dust.
That is the vocals of the Carpool Queen has made her way
The
back.
vocals.
The
stunning
ASMR.
vocals
South
of the
Florida?
Carpool Queen. Yeah,
Social
South
media look
Florida.
fantastic.
The Boca Raton.
Somebody.
Lane Kiffin's hometown. Did you run into Lane?
Oh, is it really?
Hell
I'm not
yeah.
impressed with Boca. Like, the resort was cool.
Wow.
I told her not to start that.
Why?
I made it so bougie.
No, this was a
I'm
work
not
trip for
impressed with
David. This is not
Boca.
like we paid for this and like went on a vacation. Like
Sure.
this was his work trip. I tagged along. Like you bring a guest. So
White
I'm not-
Lotus.
This isn't like I'm like I booked this trip and I hated it. Nothing like that. The resort was fabulous. I'm
My
just talking
water's not
about
cold
the
enough.
town.
Thank you.
It's
No,
just,
it was great, but
I'll
the
be at the
city
spa.
of Boca, like Miami, is way better. Like I much would prefer.
Who's the
Miami.
actor?
How
Actress
far
in
is
Legally
Boca
Blonde?
from
I
Miami?
think 45 minutes.
You didn't Google it?
Yes, and I think it was 45 minutes.
Did y'all have a
I
rent a
looked
car?
at the map before I left. No, we did not.
Was he working the whole time?
Like we
Okay,
spent the whole day on the
okay,
beach
okay.
Tuesday. I went to the spa Monday and
No
then
doubt, no doubt.
Hey, Jennifer
like-
Coolidge.
totally like that. But like someone
just
on the
don't know if
trip,
I like
Sean
Orlando.
actually, he said I've never felt. He was like I feel. This is Sean who said this. I feel rich in New Orleans. I live in New Orleans and I feel rich. I come to South Florida and I feel like the poorest mother effer on the face of the
Well, I
earth.
mean, Boca is
You
like,
just do.
by the zip code, is like one of the, isn't it like one of the
money.
wealthiest in the,
It has to
in the
be.
country?
I mean,
It's- well, it's all old
everywhere
money.
down there
right, it's
too.
like all
Every-
retired money,
Yeah.
right?
It's all New
But
York
like
people that
Miami's
moved
the
down.
same way. I mean, it's just like the
Bunch of
cars
Madoffs.
and the place we stayed. Like people are members there
Yeah,
and like
sure.
go spend their days
Yeah,
there.
they have
It's
clubs, so
wild.
like the poor people can't get in. They
Yes,
come around.
that's exactly what it was.
Yeah,
And,
they,
like-
they go play bocce
And
ball
when they
and
do
golf
come
and
around,
Yes.
take
like,
a
we've got
nap.
rules for people like you.
They were
Yeah.
playing croquet out on the lawn, and
We
David
don't
walked
like
up
your
on it.
shoes.
He's like,
You
"What the
gotta leave."
hell are they doing? They're
Are you-
playing croquet. What is this?"
You
I'm
just
like,
don't seem like a local.
You don't seem like you're from around here.
Yeah.
we were not from around there.
It just is JenniferCoolidge.com in White Lotus, where she just always, I don't know. You know
I
what I'm
know,
talking about?
yes.
She just does a great
Very cringy.
sigh.
Yes.
Stifler's mom.
Yes. She's got it going on.
But it was cool.
Yeah, she lives
a
in New
free
Orleans.
trip is always cool.
Really?
so.
From New Orleans.
Oh, you'll see her today.
Jennifer Coolidge?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't realize that.
Wow.
Yeah, ask her if she wants to go to Leon Bridges with you.
Locals Thursday.
So half price?
for
Stifler's
the
mom.
locals.
That's well. Are you a local? Like, are we local?
If you have a Louisiana
I think
ID.
it's
really
yeah, it's a
all of
idea.
Louisiana?
Mhm.
That's cool.
Mhm.
I'm thinking about going this weekend. So.
Well,
not
no,
half
not
price.
not
Oh,
half
it's just
price.
Thursday. You just
Not
said
half
that.
price. And not the Thursday crowds.
Oh, is it like a lot lighter on Thursday?
Absolutely. You can move around.
This is the day to go.
That's the draw.
Okay.
And it looks like the morning is beautiful.
Yeah.
It looks
Perfect
incredible.
weather.
Someone who I believe is still on a bender in New Orleans is our friend Ben Mintz. I talked to him yesterday afternoon. Once word was let out by Dave Portnoy and the crew over at Barstool that he was being terminated after a video went viral earlier this week on a episode of Wake Up Mintzy. And it's not half price. I'm telling a lie.
What?
It's Jeff.
I think it is.
Who just told you that?
Jeff and Kenner said it's not half.
Well,
Oh,
that's because he's from
no.
Kenner.
I already have my tickets.
Well, you said
though.
this whole like
I
local
mean,
Thursday thing.
But
Like
I
it
mean,
was
they
a
do call it
thing.
local Thursday.
Well, damn. Well, what do you get? Maybe you get like food. half
get better
price or
crowds.
something. Okay, there you go. That's worth
I'm
it.
Googling it.
Jason,
Sorry,
screw Mintz. Mintz is going through it right now. He seems to be in good spirits, though. I know that he's put a couple of videos out. And then I know that he was planning on not sleeping a lot from now until the weekend.
Yeah,
Wake
I
up,
bet.
Mintzy.
And, man, I feel bad for our boy. You do not.
I don't.
Starkville, Mississippi.
No, this has nothing to do with it. I just think he made a really dumb mistake.
He
and,
did.
Like, you should know better.
He
So
Ron
you-
Burgundy'd
You
himself.
should.
I don't feel sorry
Yeah.
for him.
That's right. That's right.
That's all. Nothing to do with Star. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of like
Yeah, okay,
the king of
right.
Ole Miss is going down, but
Right.
King of the South.
Can't get much more Ole Miss.
It
than
is a
what he
bad.
does, so.
It is a bad juxtaposition of what happened and being called the King of the South.
Yes, it is.
That's not a great look.
No, it is not.
Just for
Mr.
history.
Ole Miss.
Yes.
Um,
But
But either
T's.
way, that was a friend of ours and is a friend of ours. Or mine. Or mine.
No, Mintz is
sheesh.
great. We love Mintz. I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't feel sorry for you if you did it. I would be like, you idiot.
Right,
What
for
were
sure.
you,
But
Jordy, what were you thinking?
That's
This
a
is what
form
you
of
do
feeling
every day.
sorry for somebody. Anger is a
I'm
form
not
of grief.
angry. I'm not angry.
If Jordy did it, we would be disappointed, but also sad.
Yeah, I would be very sad
Right.
and disappointed.
Some
and
sad with
upset.
Mets.
Yes, and I am. I'm sad for Mintz. Because I thought that Barstool was just such a perfect place for him.
Totally.
I mean, it was really a place that embraced his personality, embraced his act, and it really brought out the good side and showed the great. I mean, like, I would think that his last bit, the running the marathon,
He was on top of the world. He was
I
king of
mean, like,
content.
it was an amazing time in life for
Mintzy
Mintz.
was riding high. He was cracking
I
aces.
mean, he was sprinting the last leg of marathons.
But so many people are still going at him about that.
Did
like,
you
about
watch?
his
I watched
time.
that whole stream.
Yeah,
and they were like, they were getting so mad at him because he kept checking his phone because people kept calling him and DMing him about the pace that he's on. Like, Mintzy, put your phone down. Because like you're ruining your own pace, and he's like, "Well, y'all keep calling me." It's just like now we're just trying to make him lose,
Did
and
he
Mintzy has no
make
clue.
it?
Yeah, he did.
But
He
like
did.
in that time that
Yes.
you're supposed to,
He
he
sprinted
really
the last
did.
lap.
He did not make the Crescent City Classic under
blamed
an
it on
hour, but it
traffic.
was like, I mean, it was a couple of seconds.
Okay.
But then he did something the last time where he like slaughtered it. He
Yeah.
said he was going to come in, and he like killed it by like 2 minutes.
Yeah, they made him run it again on the Yak on Barstool, and he had to run it in New York Park because
That's right,
he
I saw
blamed the
that.
crowds. He was like, people are in my way. And like, all right, we can set you up a track to where you can do it on your own volition. And that man went out there and
He did it, bro.
Mintzy Burners,
He did it.
the speed demon.
So no more
Fly
Mintzy
high, burn
Barstool.
bright.
Yes,
you know, Icarus.
It is. Look, you could tell by Portnoy in his message that he has. Look, he didn't have a lot to do with this. He has sold his company to Penn Gaming, Barstool, and Penn Gaming now has 100% control of the operating decisions that are made day in, day out for Barstool Sports. And once they signed over control to a corporation, I know Portnoy had to put out another video yesterday.
He did. I thought it was a joke. Like Lloyd sent it to me, and I was like, "No, when are they going to stop this whole like Mintzy's fired, cancel Mintzy?" Like
So
this
wait,
is getting
was
old.
he saying like no duh? Like
Who? Mintz?
Portnoy.
No doy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I was like,
Yeah,
That's like
is
total.
that like no duh?
Yes, that's like from the early
I
90s.
mean, like that was like when I was
Remember?
a kid.
Yes.
I was like, is he kidding?
And we'd be serious, be like,
Yeah,
no doy.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I mean, it's spectacular content.
It is great content.
Because he
Yeah.
goes, that's the same thing that got Mintzy in trouble. He just goes off the cuff and he just
Right.
turns the phone on. I mean, that's what people that create content do. You would be surprised at how much is not scripted. You know, if you're
sure.
on this side of it, like
Sure.
once you see how the sausage is made, it's really like turn the camera on.
Uh-huh.
And that's what Barstool has built their brand on. And if you're Ben Mintz, you can fall into the trap. But that's how you also get the no doy moment, where it's just like, I guess I'll send this out, like emergency
You sure
going
put that up?
live. Yeah,
right.
sound like a kid from the '90s.
Am I a sellout? Well, no doy.
And I was gonna sell no doy shirts for
Oh, no doubt.
and make make an extra 15 million.
But it's, I thought did you see Gary Sheffield Jr.? Like quick-handed Gary Sheffield Jr. quote tweeted Mintz and said like Barstool, he was like, because Mintz was like, look, I'm an idiot. I made a mistake. I apologize. But I'm a resilient idiot. I'll be back. He's in good spirits.
That's good.
And Gary Sheffield quote tweeted it. You can grab this, Lloyd. You can find it.
I'm looking at it right now.
Read it.
Gary Sheffield Jr. This is his words, not mine. You're not an idiot. Our culture is dismissal. Singing along to a song is not offending black people. Maybe we should read this. Let's be honest about
I
who this
feel
really
weird.
bothered. Barstool used to be the savior to mainstream sports, and it's shifting into ESPN4. From Gary Sheffield Jr., not my words.
Disclaimer. Those were
Disclaimer.
not Lloyd Courtney's
No,
words.
that's not my place to speak on it.
But it's like you see what Barstool. That's how Barstool started. It was an opportunity where people would come. Just
be offensive.
Speak their Be offensive.
Yeah, it was
really
the cultural identity of this is the way to crack through sports. It's not suit and tie. It is very much.
Yeah.
You're sitting in your living room.
You're sitting on a bar stool.
Right, but this is where the line of delineation is. There's like a couple of things you can't do, and he did one of them, and that's how you get fired from a play.
I will say this: one of the most frequently asked questions that I would get early on in radio, like me and Moscona would go and like talk to like
the Seven Sins
and like high schools and colleges. Just like locals here in town. And one of the first questions is, how do you not cuss on air? How do you not slip up and say a bad word? And it really is. I mean, it's early on, it was something that you had to like think about.
Yeah.
Right. And then I remember we went and spoke to a class, and one of the black students asked if I've ever been in a situation where somebody slipped up and said, and used a racial slur. And I have not. I have never been a part of that. And they asked if I had ever been close to that. And I never have, because I never say it.
Yeah. And
that's the easiest way to make sure that you don't step in it. Now, cussing, I remember back in the day, and I did step in it. I did it one time, and I got called in the office and had no idea, the FCC violations and really the consequences and
the fine is massive.
Fines, and it was. I had really
oh my God!
Didn't know the the gamble that it was every day to turn the microphone.
Yes, it's wild.
But clearly, the easiest way not to step in it is it's not a part of your vocabulary.
Right.
It's not who you are.
Right.
It's not. And it is a moment when I saw it live, and I saw it too. I don't know if it was live, but I saw it kind of early when the content came out. And I thought immediately, he's in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
He's in big trouble.
He knew
and it doesn't matter if you're reading it off paper. It doesn't matter. In 2023, it just doesn't matter. There's just, especially when you're in bed with a corporation.
Exactly.
How Penn explains this is that they've got individual states licensed gambling licenses to coordinate business with gaming within individual states, and there's groups out there that are constantly trying to get these licenses and get them taken away from other organizations so they can free one up. There's only a certain amount per state, and it's very difficult to land one of these things. And there's always people looking for a way to knock you off and get that license. And the way that Portnoy explained it was that this would become wildfire.
Yeah.
This would become, for them, it would become almost something that would break the company.
Yeah, absolutely it would. They had to make this decision. And they should have. And the people that are fighting it, there's no point. You just can't fight that. I think I've told y'all before, Sophie said that one day. Just the difference in generations to me is wild, but great. But she said someone at school said that word, and it was immediate, the whole class. She was like, he's done. He's canceled. He's over.
Oh, man.
Nobody wants anything to do with him. It was just like that.
Yeah.
And they don't even think about, they can't even believe it came out of his mouth, and then it's over.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah, it's
how it should be.
It is how it should
be.
But
that's what is, I guess, if there's any counterpoint for Ben, it's unfortunate how it happened because he was reading and he's not. We know how Ben is. Whatever he sees, like I said, it's a Ron Burgundy moment where whatever you put on the teleprompter, he's going to say. And it's just that's unfortunate that is what happened. But it's also inexcusable.
Right.
you have to know better.
Showing up to this job every single day, there are things that are absolutely on the
7
do
dirty
not
words.
touch list.
George Carlin.
I mean, like, absolutely. Like, I mean, sits in a field that has a do not enter.
Population of
Like,
0.
I mean,
Yeah.
don't even think about it.
See you next Tuesday.
You know, and it becomes a lot more liberal on this platform,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, there's no FCC.
Right.
You know, I mean, we can
Right.
sit here and tell dirty jokes until 9 o'clock, right? I mean, but there's still certain things that are absolutely way out of bounds and untouchable,
Ejected.
right? And
God,
like I
wait,
said,
were
the
you
easiest way to do it is keep it out of your vocabulary.
were you with when OTB was still live and it was supposed to go to national and T-Bob was talking? Were you in the room still?
Yes.
Because that
We
was
said,
I'm not.
See you next Tuesday.
Yes. And it was a sweat moment for everybody in the building.
It
That's what Hunter
was-
Fournette just said.
It was hilarious now because I don't think we got reported.
Wait,
We
what did
did
he
not.
do?
He thought he was off air and he was just talking.
Who was the producer?
It was not me. It was Rivers.
Leaving the
I
mic
was at
high.
Sports Today waiting for her to switch it back, and I was like, I can't kill the board because I'm not
That's right.
upstairs. I'm on the second floor, and I was like, oh my god.
We were hot.
Yeah, we were hot mics.
We had hot mic.
Talk about if you want to make a lap real quick from the second floor to the third floor. I was jumping the stairs. It was like, well, boys.
Like
What?
the word was said, not see you
He was
next
just he
Tuesday,
wasn't
but
like
the
he didn't
whole
say
word.
anything like terrible. He was just no, it wasn't see you next
Oh,
Tuesday.
okay.
It was just he was just talking.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
But he
locker
did
room.
say something
Oh,
about
that was FCC
badge.
fined. Yeah.
He said something about vagina. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I mean, like it was something about that.
It was something that everybody's ears and the
everybody
antenna
was
went
like-
up.
And I think she was like, I think we're live. And we're like,
Oh,
shit.
that if you want to get a
Oh
cold,
no. We had there was like a huddle, like the comment, and people were like, yo,
Yo,
Yo!
Tell the mic.
yo.
Because you can tell he's not on because the mic's so far away. It sounds
Right.
like this, and you're just
Right.
like, oh my god, they can still hear him. Oh, talk about a cold trickle down the back where you're just like, what, Ron
my
Artest? Are we
God.
gonna get in trouble?
Ron Artest is so funny. After the malice in the palace.
Think we're
Y'all
in
think we
trouble?
gonna get
You think we're gonna get in trouble?
Ron, we get suspension,
Run!
kicked
We
out
might
the
go to
league.
jail, dude.
You know what we just did?
The FBI
Shit,
is
dude, we gotta
outside,
get out of here.
You think I'm gonna get in trouble? Yeah, bro.
That's the
Yeah,
best
bro, we're
phrase.
getting in trouble, man.
You just knocked the fan out, Ron.
Yeah, the funniest thing is him asking that question happened to be the straight guy and be like, yeah, dude, like, I went up there with you and I realized it when I did it.
Did he ask Steven Jackson?
Yeah.
Steven Jackson.
Bro, we're getting kicked out
Are
of
we
the
getting in
league.
trouble?
I made the decision.
They're gonna throw us out of the league,
Ron
dude.
thinks he's playing tomorrow.
Like, Coach, I got 30 tomorrow.
I mean, yeah. We going back to back, huh?
We got Chicago tomorrow night.
The greatest quote of all time. You think we're gonna get in trouble?
I love Ron Artest.
I know, and he still had a good career after that. That's the
Oh,
craziest
I know.
part.
Name change. Ben Mintz.
dude.
Maybe
Yeah.
name change.
Ball player though. Ball
player.
player. That's how you know you're for real. Like when you're that crazy and people are like, we got to take him.
Dennis Rodman and Ron Artest.
We gotta
There's a list of
take
two.
him. I mean,
Let him
like,
do whatever he wants.
I mean, he was a
outside
lottery
basketball.
pick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they were like,
The Malice in the Palace really did shed a lot of light of how good he was.
Oh, my
Because
God.
I don't think people know he's only known for that. If you're like a casual NBA fan, like he's only known for that moment, right? And then what he did with the Lakers at the end of his career. But him on the Pacers was a problem.
whew, that Pacers team.
Was a problem.
That Pacers team.
Something was gonna happen.
That Pacers team. What? But they were loaded.
Reggie Miller was hurt, though.
They were. Yeah, but he
That was
coming
his
back.
swan song.
Yeah.
That was his last year, right?
If he could have played on that team, he could have just went and rested on the 3-point line and just knocked him down. He could have just.
Throw him up to
Just-
Steven
I mean,
Jackson. and-
right.
and
Here's your
Jermaine
30,
O'Neal.
Reg.
You're
You have
open.
to move.
Remember
And you
the
don't have to
first-
play defense.
Remember the first time I saw Malice at the Palace was
Yes.
here with y'all
Wait,
at
Katie,
the UDL?
You didn't see it like when it happened?
No,
She had no idea that it
silly.
existed.
Oh my God,
Oh my
Katie,
We talked
I
about
said-
I
it.
swear I was watching it live.
Me too. And as a kid,
I was
like,
watching it live.
I was watching it live, and as a
No.
kid, I watched that for a week straight, probably on ESPN.
We
Me
wa-
and my
I watched
college
it in front of
roommate,
them.
We were watching it live. I mean, like, we were like,
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
the
shit,
wildest
it's
thing I've
happening.
ever seen.
holy shit.
like when he was laying on the
When the
scores
fan,
table.
what about when the fans like
bucked up to
Like,
Jermaine
you're like,
O'Neal.
Get out of there, dude! Are you out of your mind?
If that man doesn't slip, I swear to
Oh my
God,
God,
he's
he'd have
catching
killed him.
a charge.
He'd have killed him.
Yes.
This
He'd have
dude's
killed
dead
him.
right now.
And
It would
then
have
that
been Shaquille O'Neal and Brad Miller. Brad Miller is the luckiest human being alive. Have you ever seen that punch that Shaquille O'Neal throws on Brad Miller? Have you ever seen that?
I
yes.
don't think so.
He
I don't-
winds up. Shaq winds up.
Full force.
Running. He is running
When
at
is
Brad
this?
Miller. Shaq's a Laker and Brad Miller is a Bull.
Was that when he pulled him down?
Yeah, Shaq's like coming up for a layup and Brad Miller kind of like swipes him. He like kind of like fouls him hard. It was hack a Shaq
Oh,
days,
maybe
bro.
we watched that in here.
We have.
We have. I have seen that.
And
yeah.
Shaq is like
That's
momentum
wild. Can you
coming
imagine
downhill,
that
and
arm
he
coming at you?
swings and comes from here. And grazes Brad grazes.
he has full intent to knock the.
And I mean, I'm telling you, if it's a half a second later,
that man is taking a dirt nap.
Shaq might go to jail. I mean, because he might
Assault.
have killed him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
He
think
might
about
have
that hand
if he
coming
hits
at
him
you.
like in his temple,
Yeah,
or the
if he
back
hits
of
him
the
in the
head,
side of his head, like I mean,
and then he's hitting the
dude,
court.
that's at that point in Shaq's life, he probably had like 14% body fat. You know what I mean? Like he was a robot.
Yeah, well, people talked about like LeBron giving you 2020, and then I was listening to a podcast, and they went through Shaq's stat line, like in the NBA playoffs, and it was like 45 and 21, 50 and 30, and it's just like Jesus, you didn't realize what you were watching at the time.
blocks.
Yeah.
Because it was so normal for him to be that dominant. But when you go back and look at the stat line, you see like LeBron give you 20 and 20, and it's like, oh, it's because he's 38. It's like, no, that's incredibly hard to do. And then you look at Shaq's line, who was the preeminent force in basketball, giving you 40 and 20 rebounds and 10 blocks, and spending half his time at the free throw line.
I mean, they changed the rules because of him. There's only been a
He was
couple
impossible
of
to stop.
people that have come along and changed the game. Like literally changed. Like Wilt Chamberlain, they changed the size of the lane when he was playing because nobody
Three in the key.
could guard him in that space. They had to make it wider so people could get him out of there. Shaq, they didn't play zone defense in the NBA. They didn't allow zone defenses in
Yeah.
the NBA before Shaquille O'Neal. Like if you played a zone defense against Michael Jordan, they would stop the game and call the penalty was called illegal defense. If you got two of them, it was a technical foul.
Yeah, when did they change that?
Shaquille O'Neal in 2000, there was you couldn't guard him one-on-one. There was no player on the planet. Yao Ming couldn't guard him.
So he's
Ben
the reason?
Wallace couldn't guard him. I mean, give me some of the defenders back in
Amari
that day.
Stoudemire.
Chris Webber tried to guard him with Sacramento. Vlade Divac tried to guard him with Nobody could guard this guy one-on-one. So the NBA, and it wasn't as if they like went to like a rules committee meeting and changed it. They changed it in the middle of the year.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Just because of Shaq?
Because so many people were complaining and saying, what are we supposed to do? This guy can beat us individually. I mean, in the year 2000, he was unguardable.
That's a wild.
He was so good at basketball that it's unexplainable.
Yeah.
He was a 7 foot, 300-pound
Deer.
freak. Like seriously, he probably had 9-10% body fat
Yeah.
on him and was just running like a point guard. And then he would catch the ball 6-7 feet away from the rim. He would dribble at one time and he was underneath the rim and he was carrying people with him. They changed the rules from zone defense, from man to man. You can now play zone defense, and then they changed the way that they built basketball goals.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because of him.
Yeah.
Not only did he pull down the backboard in New Jersey, so they changed the structure then, the NBA, but then like in 1993 or 4, he was still with Orlando, I believe. He broke the hydraulic suspension in the goal. He pulled a goal
Can you
down,
imagine?
and the goal just started like falling down, like kind of like
Like Mikey's-
hydraulically
Yeah, Mikey's
falling down,
desk.
like perfect. Yeah, like Mikey's dead. It was just like come straight down. It was like sitting on the ground, and the NBA's like the engineers are like,
Call it.
we never thought that. I mean, like
Yeah.
that wasn't supposed to ever happen.
wouldn't.
Yeah, like so they would put stickers on goals after that had Shaq proof.
That's what it said?
It would be Shaq-proofed.
That's so cute.
TNT
You know what I mean?
has been killing it ever since.
And, I mean,
Cute.
Michael Jordan didn't change the game.
Did you see the
Right.
clip of him
You know,
tackling
Steph
Chuck?
Not like
Curry.
that.
Steph Curry has changed the game. Steph Curry has changed the way that basketball is played for a generation. I mean, he's taken away almost the mid-range jump shot.
Yeah.
I mean, he's turned basketball into a three-point barrage. That's all it is.
Stu, I'm going to send you this video that Jared Mitchell sent me because we were talking about this yesterday, and it's exactly what you're talking about. It's AAU, and they're pulling up from half court every shot.
Oh, man. I mean, Jordan's 12 years old. He is that generation. He is the Steph Curry generation. He plays basketball 9 months a year. I mean, we spend 9 months of our year in a basketball gym watching his generation play. The mid-range jump shot is extinct. I'm telling you. That's why women's basketball, to me, is so popular. Is because they still play a pure form of the game. Like, I mean, Flaugier will knock down a 19-footer all day.
Luther.
I mean,
That's her game.
absolutely.
She
Michaela
plays-
Williams will knock down a 17-footer all night
On your
long.
head.
Right? Like, you give her that, she'll just bust it all night. You give Ace Miller an 18-footer, he freaks out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he'll shoot bricks all night.
Yeah.
He's either got to dunk it or he's got to shoot a three-pointer. I mean, it's there's no in between. That's why I tell Jay, you knock down a 15-footer, bro, you might be able to play basketball
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
Because it's a skill and it's a part of the trade that's just it's lost.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, nobody really pays attention to it. And Steph Curry is the best to ever do it, but he has created this wave and generation that think that's how I'm supposed to play. I can dribble 3 times when I cross half court, cross somebody up and pull up. I mean, I've seen more air balls.
Oh, my God.
More like clangs off the top of the goal from 12-year-olds where you're like, kid, pass the ball and cut.
Right.
Where's your dad?
You know, I mean, like, move the ball around before you. But, I mean, a lot of that is just watching TNT.
Did
Just watching
y'all
the plays.
ever watch the Kenny Sailor story? I don't feel like y'all did. I think it was on HBO. Kim Mulkey has a part in it. She's on there commenting, and Steph Curry narrates it. Kenny Sailor's just who invented the jump shot, supposedly. If y'all haven't watched it,
You've
it
talked
is-
about this a
Oh,
bunch
yeah,
of
yeah.
times.
Because I think y'all need to watch it. It's amazing. It is the coolest story. Like the way that this guy like perfected his form, and then Steph Curry modeled himself off of that. It's a really interesting story.
Jump shot movie.
Y'all should watch it. Yeah, I think it's called Jump Shot. To answer everybody's question about what's in the box, I feel like it's getting out of hand.
Oh, drugs.
It's crawfish boil from our Shelton seasoning friend.
Get
He
the
sent
knife
us
out.
this. Yeah, I mean, can you smell it? My eyes are like watering over here. I'm gonna have to move the box.
Yeah.
I feel like
I'll
there
send
were
that
some
to our
box
friends down in
comments.
Lafayette. They
So
went
we're gonna
sprinkling on top of
boil.
a boil.
We're gonna boil big meat seafood boil. So thank you.
Oh, that's what they called me in high school.
Thank you for sending this. We appreciate it, and we're gonna use it on our little crawfish boil this spring.
In the boil, not on top of the boil.
In the boil, not on
But
top
apparently
of the
you got
boil.
into it on the internet.
Jordy's fired
We're
up.
both
Let it go,
everybody's
man.
sparring on the internet.
Yeah, I
You
couldn't
know,
let
the
it go.
last week.
I couldn't let it go.
That's okay. Everybody
I
has their
saw a
battles.
hype video from USL come out, and
USO. Love it.
Man went to school there.
then like anytime you talk about it, they're like, "Oh, we live rent free in your head." You're like, "No, I mean, I'm just reacting to the video."
USL.
If you don't know what,
You
Yeah.
went there. I went the last 3 semesters, and I went because it was the fastest way out. It's not the endorsement that you're looking for.
it's
I
easier.
keep telling
here.
all of them, I'm like,
It's easier,
And when did we
damn.
start debating colleges in Louisiana?
Yeah, I mean, we're literally. What
I
do you?
mean, like,
I mean,
look at your library. Like, all right.
Who
all
gives a
right.
damn?
I mean, like,
Is that
why
what-
is the library back in the news?
Why is it? What's happening with it?
Well, there's a hedge fund guy out there that put a picture side by side of the football locker room, which always plays
Okay,
well,
well,
but I
that's
feel like this
why.
has been played
Is this what it
since
still looks like?
2015,
This
right?
has been going on since last year when
A
football
lot-
got more money.
When's the
and
last
then
time you went
people
to Middleton?
Crazy.
December before I graduated.
Was it like? Did it still have the leaky roof?
I don't think so.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
That
still
picture is
but,
old.
I mean, like,
Well, does it not still look like that?
That's what I'm
I feel
asking.
like people say
I mean,
that
it's
it does.
still old on the inside.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, LSU's redoing a bunch of like buildings around campus. They
First
just haven't
off,
redone
if
the
I'm a
Yeah.
student, if I'm a legitimate student in college these days, and I'm worried about what the inside of the library looks like,
It's the smell.
what's going on inside the library that I can't get on my phone these days? Like, what am I really looking for
What do you mean?
in the library? I mean,
like a quiet place to
It's just
study.
more
I guess.
quiet.
No,
Fine,
you can't.
maybe.
You don't have a room.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean
but
there's
some
not a
people
It's
don't.
for
coffee
it's
shop.
it's for people that are predatory and notorious
I
and serial
agree.
masturbators.
Well, like if you live in the fraternity house or the dorm and you really don't have anywhere else to go, maybe you're not from here.
It's for
you
people
don't-
that are addicted to pornography and they know they need to get out
in
their
the
room.
library.
This
Really?
man-
No, so
Just
they have
as
to go to
serial
the public.
masturbators.
That's what it's
Oh.
for.
I mean, I
Like-
studied in our library. They had study rooms inside of it that you.
Well,
could-
yeah, don't get caught.
See, I would go to the library. I would go to the library like before I had an exam. Like I'd go like
Yeah.
2 hours before my exam, sit in the library, and just walk to the testing center.
I'd make a lap,
Yeah,
see if the
'cause
libraries were
quiet.
staying. When I found out it wasn't, we were leaving.
I have never gone to the library on my own volition.
Really?
At
Never with
LSU.
any
It
intent
was
to do anything
only
to make
meet-
myself a better student.
No, I never went by myself. Like I was like, I'm just staying at home. Like
Okay.
I'm sure I'll fuck it up at home too, but going to the library, there's no difference. There's no there's
You ain't
nothing
doing nothing.
here.
You
Like,
still
They
learn
have
the same
books
information.
there.
right, but nobody checks. We're not using the Dewey
Get it.
Decimal System.
I don't think I've ever
Like
seen somebody check
everybody's
out
just
a book.
on the
No,
internet.
I don't think they
in
check them
LSU's
out, but they
library.
go and like use them when they're in there, right? For research.
No.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody pick up a book.
You're talking to the wrong
gosh.
people. I didn't even buy books.
I am talking to
I
the
didn't-
wrong people.
I didn't buy
I need
books
some
either.
help here.
Like unless it, like
Go to Chegg.
yeah, came with the online stuff.
What's the
Well,
what's
clearly people are upset about it and they want the
the
library to be
Flipkart
better, right?
website?
Sure. And look, I think that the library should be
Quizlet.
functional.
Yeah, it totally should.
Like, they should be taking on water.
It is a school.
You know what I mean?
I mean, it's
Can't they borrow $1 million from the football
it's
program?
functional.
Seems like it. That would
Yeah,
go a long way. What if all the coaches like put a little bit of their budget into the library and
Brian-
like
For
name
God's
each
sakes.
floor, like the Brian Kelly
Can
floor?
somebody
say
shut
is-
these people up? Here's
Exactly.
800,000.
Yeah.
Build a library.
Do that, right?
Jeez.
The Kim Mulkey Archive, something.
But I feel like LSU is gonna get a new library sooner or later.
I don't think
They
they
have
are,
to.
Stewie. I think at this point they're just trying to troll everybody.
Our library's
I
going
mean, like,
away.
'cause
how
they-
easy would this be to just shut everybody up a couple of years
I
ago?
don't know because they're redoing like what is that? The
There's a
building next to
library-
Cox, the sport admin building. They're redoing that.
Oh, they've been doing that for
The one
5
that was-
years.
That's the archive
The
building,
one
yeah.
with
The
the
one
one
that
with
was in the
the
auditorium.
the one with the pool.
Mm-hmm.
There's a pool in it.
Yeah.
Oh, kick-ass pool.
Where?
Yeah.
No moss, huh? It's gone.
Fuck, I'm blanking on the name.
The
Is
Huey
it-
Long
Huey P. Long.
Field
Oh,
House.
oh, okay.
Oh, Stewie, yeah, Stewie went to class a lot. They
Yeah,
even
right.
named the
Big
building
library
he
guy.
had to go to. So literally all of our classes were in that building.
Not my last like year and a half at LSU because they were redoing it.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's because people would tailgate around there for like the old Alexandria tailgate. Is right there, and it kind of killed the vibe because it's construction the whole day, and you're just
Sure,
like,
yeah.
now there's kids running around everywhere. It's like, this is not what it used to be. I gotta find somewhere else.
The building they really need to be talking about at LSU is Lockett. That thing floods every time it rains.
Lock
Like-
it.
Yeah, it still does.
Like knee-deep floods, doesn't it?
Yes, like the roof's leaking. Like
Right.
I
the
was
roof is
in there the
actually
other
leaking.
day with Sophie for something for school, and I couldn't even believe it was a building on a college campus.
Yes,
I was like,
it's-
"Where are
That's
we?"
where all my classes were the last
Y'all
year
are-
and a half.
missing
was
out on the
awful.
charm of LSU.
Right.
Like it's the.
But I
it's
mean,
the,
update it. Come on.
No,
I
it's
mean,
the,
it's
it's
full
the
of
biggest
people.
like non-secret secret of all time. Nobody here gives a fuck about school.
We ain't here to play
We
school.
ain't here to play school. I'm here for 8 Saturdays a year. Like, give me every home football game, and you can take my tuition. I don't give a shit. But for what, I'm a party with about 110,000 every Saturday. That's why everybody comes to LSU.
Ivan Salazar, are there any serious plans in place for LSU in refurbishing the Assembly Center? There are now. Kim Mulkey's talking about it. Before 2 weeks ago, I would have told you that this was probably something on the agenda that was lost deep into the pages or deep down on what was a priority. But now that she's barking about it, I would say that they will have a new PMAC within 3 years.
Woohoo!
That would be my. I'm not. That's not official news. That's just kind of what I would bet on. I would
It's
bet.
not official.
I would bet that if she's clamoring for one, that this will get done pretty quickly.
Yeah.
They should put it on the water,
Yeah, they should put it on the river.
on the river.
Is there a discussion of doing that?
No, I just thought of
I
this.
don't know. That's just like a they
Like
got
the
Like a
water
casino.
campus.
They can't do that because all of the land by the river is sinking.
Well, no, but LSU owns like that
Yeah, I
water
know.
campus and all that. They own that, right?
I know that
They
there's
could-
been like a 25-year, 50-year study on
Ryan
Tiger
Taylor.
Stadium because Tiger Stadium
no.
like sinks like a half of an inch or something
Home
like.
field advantage.
Well, isn't all of South Louisiana really sinking?
Yeah.
Exactly, especially within a mile and a half of the river.
Yeah.
Right? But they bought all of that River Road property down and like past LaBerge.
Mm-hmm.
And like even bought like on the other side of River Road, like down in there. And I know that there was like plans in place of like looking at the possibility of moving a total like athletic complex, like
I can't imagine.
basketball, football, maybe not baseball, but I don't know what the.
I can't even
baseball in
imagine
the
that.
water.
Coach, imagine how crazy the LSU baseball fans would go if they rebuilt Alex Box. Like if they moved it.
Oh my God.
Oh, I agree. I mean, what do you think the discussion and where would it even begin if you started to talk about moving Tiger Stadium?
It would
Oh.
lose it.
Oh.
Like,
I don't even.
Shut it down.
what would you do? Like,
Shut
what
down the
would you
football
even
program.
like? What would you even? Where
I
would you?
wouldn't leave my
how would
house,
you
I'd be
like to be
scared.
the athletic director at that time? I mean, that might be 60 years, 50 years, maybe 100 years from now.
Jesus.
What's sad to think is that it's probably coming. Like,
Sure.
you
I mean,
know,
no.
I
think
mean, I'll
that,
be
like,
dead.
I think the studies are like showing like ultimately
this will happen.
it's going to happen.
You're going to be
Well,
Venice.
yeah. Just
You
like
know?
California's going to fall off at some point.
I mean,
Florida.
we're just. Well, I mean, this is like the
is-
50-yard line is going to be 4 feet underground. I mean, like
It never rains in Tiger Stadium, but it does flood. It might be
it
underwater.
does sink.
Does
Yeah.
not rain.
Oh,
It's
that would
sinking.
be insane.
so. I mean,
Move it. You move it to the river. Name it Ryan Perley Field.
This man is.
But you wouldn't move it to the river. You'd move it away from the river.
You're right next to
We're
the
yeah, I mean,
sinking.
I agree. I mean, like I don't know if you
You can't get
create,
closer to the
you know,
river.
solve one problem by creating another, right?
Yeah.
Well, how does Venice do it?
They're sinking,
Yeah, Venice is
They
cool.
have like air bubbles underneath their buildings.
but they're
though.
struggling.
I'm
It's a
just.
struggle. That city's
Well, I
going
don't
to be gone.
I don't know if it's comparable to.
It's not.
I mean, the mouth of the river,
Venice is cooked.
but I mean,
bro.
it's
Yeah, Venice is going way faster than Baton Rouge.
I'm just saying that's what you'll be looking at, right?
Yeah. Think about the cost. in
So
doing that.
gorgeous.
It is. It is beautiful. It is very cool.
It's no Boca.
It is no Boca.
It's no Boca.
It's way better than Boca.
what is.
And got Lake
So wait,
Sarnas.
did you see how Lane Kiffin was thriving in Boca?
I did not. Like recently?
No.
No.
Could you
Just
see how he
did you
enjoyed the
see
Oh,
how-
could
lifestyle?
I see? No. I couldn't.
So wait, did you leave the facility?
I did. We actually
Are
did.
you giving me honest feedback?
Leave-
I
leave
really
the
am. Like
facility.
I googled like best things to do in Boca Raton because we like to leave and explore and like
Absolutely.
get rid of the group and like what's out there.
Right.
It was a mall, like a big mall with like Gucci, Chanel, blah blah, all that
Sure,
stuff.
sure,
So like
sure,
a gallery type
Bringing
thing.
Louis with me.
And like a couple of small museums and like a park. That's it. They have a Roost Chris, like some other restaurants. Some
They just
chain
got bought
things.
out.
I mean, honestly, like yeah, I know
Roost
I saw
Chris?
that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But who?
but what was the who bought them?
So weird you just mentioned that. I just saw it on Twitter and I was like, I won't put this in the document, but it is interesting.
Yeah, David showed me that yesterday. But who? Oh, it's Olive Garden.
Oh no.
It's
No
the Olive
way.
Garden owners.
Damn it.
When you're
Yes.
here, your family.
Isn't that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At Darden.
Oh no.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
This is about to get bad.
Oh no.
Ruth Chris is
Ruth Chris is a staple of Baton Rouge game days.
it's going to shit now.
After a win, sizzle sizzle, go to Ruth Chris,
If
sit
you
by
can
the
get in.
belly up to the bar.
Remember they would give you like that braided stick of bread when you walked in?
It's not what I'm here for.
I don't want this.
So dry.
Like,
drumstick?
It's a pretzel.
Get water with this? Or?
Hey,
I came here
God
for
damn,
I
man.
came here for a martini. And I just had to watch less coach.
Do I say museum weird? Museum?
no, I thought you
You
actually
said-
kind of crushed it.
Museum?
Museum?
Mm.
Yeah, that's a weird way to say it.
Yeah.
But I would-
Museum.
I,
thought
no,
it was
I would, I would
museum.
actually think.
It might be
Museum?
museum.
I think that's
How do y'all
probably
say it?
the
I
correct.
say museum.
Museum.
That's probably
Am
the
I not
correct.
saying
You're
that?
probably saying
That's
it
probably the
correct
correct
way.
pronunciation.
Say
of
it
how
again.
it's-
Museum.
Say it
I mean,
slower.
that's kind of a.
Museum.
Yeah, that's,
Say it softer.
you didn't say it.
Museum.
There, that's perfect.
Siri.
Katie.
And we're going to break.
Yeah, we'll be right back. The Jordy Culotta Show and close that hour
Check,
one right
everybody
after
stand
this.
up.
Close it out.
Built by hammering it out here by R&B builders.
Building a museum.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done. Corrects done. Personal injury done. Workers' comp done. Truck wrecks done. Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done.
In 1975, Mike Anderson left the gridiron for the grill, opening a po' boy shop near LSU. If you're from Louisiana, odds are you've tasted a dish, experienced the tradition of Mike Anderson's seafood. 48 years later, the tradition of Mike Anderson's lives on with the next generation.
I'm very thankful.
He's never allowed okay to be okay. It's a driving force for me to just want to keep it as good as he made it.
Mike Anderson Seafood and WAFB, celebrating the community.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at jordyculotta.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Fourier Insurance Agency, established in 1946, locally can help you with any of your home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health insurance today. Give them a call, 225-383-0682, or log online to FourierAgency.com.
Hey, she's on her way up.
Hey, G, I got you something.
Hey, Coach. What do you think? Is this too much?
If you look good, you play good.
All right, then. Let's get it done.
Do you need your roof checked or just ready to get a new roof? Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal has helped over 10,000 customers with their roofs over the last 2 decades. Premier South employs over 300 team members in South Louisiana. They're accredited by the Better Business Bureau. They've been named in the top 100 roofers in the nation for a number of years. And Premier South has former insurance adjusters in-house whose job it is to help get all the insurance money you deserve. So go to PremierSouthLA.com for Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal and get your free inspection.
Premier South Roofing.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, built by our friends over at RMB Builders. Remember our friends over at Katie's Restaurant down in New Orleans if you're down in the city today. Locals Thursday for the Fest. If you're making the trip down there, stop in and see our friends over at Katie's on Iberville Street. I've got a lunch scheduled there on Wednesday. Looking forward to that, as we'll be down in New Orleans over in Mid-City. Katie'sInMidCity.com. Katie'sInMidCity.com is where you can find them online.
There is a local Thursdays discount.
At Katie's or Jazz Fest?
No, at Jazz Fest, but go to Katie's before. Tell them the Jordy Culotta Show sent you. It is $50 as opposed to the normal gate price of $95.
That's a good deal.
So if you're local,
right?
get on in. I see a band.
How do you prove you're local?
ID.
I do.
So just anyone in Louisiana?
With the Louisiana billing zip code.
Beautiful.
Okay.
So 70810.
We can all do that.
70803.
Nice.
70538.
What?
Many of
That's
those
Franklin.
places.
I was like, where's that? What are all
What
these
is
zip codes y'all
Alexandria?
are throwing out?
713. No. 71301.
Brian Kelly earlier this week was down in Houston. He was talking to the Houston Touchdown Club.
Not in Alexandria.
He was making he made some news here, but I don't know how much news this is. This tells you that it's football off season, right? And everybody's kind of just like looking for something to put out there. But Kelly was speaking and mentioning kind of some of the things that he enjoyed about college football. And he let roll off his tongue very eloquently, very easily, that he likes beating Alabama. And he's 1-0 versus Alabama as LSU's head coach. I don't think that that's much bulletin board material. Sure, if they want to blow it up and make it bulletin board material, I guess you can. But this is what I kind of love about Brian Kelly and have since day one. And one of the things that I didn't expect, I think I've been kind of out loud saying that early on in Brian Kelly's existence at LSU, I was surprised by a lot of, the access, the personality, the humor, the lightheartedness. And then seeing, just what makes him great, the taskmaster, implementing principles, what we saw with the leadership council that they were putting in the SWAT teams and all that was coming in, and the guys that were coming through here. And Brian Kelly, mentioned that some of the things of the job that he really enjoyed, and obviously, he mentioned that he loved beating Bama, and that has been refreshing for at least me, in the sense of LSU coaches have routinely tried to play this game either way up and made it seem like it was bigger than all the rest, or try and bury it behind all of the other games and not make it as big of a deal as it really is. Brian Kelly, since day one, has not hid from the fact that this is why he's here. He came to Baton Rouge, he came to LSU to play in the SEC. When you look at the SEC, it has the most money as far as conference it goes. It has the best exposure from a television and media contract standpoint. And when you look up at another NFL draft, it is just lapping the rest of college football as far as the talent that is being pumped out of the conference every single year, and that is represented on Sundays in the league. If you're one of the best, then you need to make it in the SEC. That's the way that the league is thought of now. I told you when Will Wade was here, that's what he told me about the league, is that there's only 14 of these jobs that exist, right? You look around, they got the best facilities, they got the most money, they got the best players. If you think you're the best, that's where you need to be. And Brian Kelly has been in the league for 1 year, and one thing that you can really tell, in my opinion, is that he loves it. He looks around and he doesn't have to wear a suit to work every day because he's just the football coach. And when you're the football coach at LSU, it means that you got players littered all over the state that are dying to play for your university. And you've got a fan base that doesn't really care what happens off the field for you as long as you're winning. And if you are winning, it's a great place to be. And you've got a staff and you've got a administration that is giving you every resource that you need to be competitive and win championships. I think Brian Kelly looks at LSU's job as almost kind of a football heaven, almost a place that he never really thought existed. To be Notre Dame's head coach, a lot of red tape you got to run through, and
you ain't cracking beers at the women's national championship with Notre Dame.
No.
Mm-mm. You ain't having dinner at the supper club with the boys.
At the supper club with Bayou traditions.
Right. Like, he's with the balls.
And loving it.
And loving it. Like, and I'm showing up in shorts and, what dress code? I'm Brian Kelly.
We're SEC Western Division champs. Right? I mean, it's why I think Kelly is he is such a perfect fit for LSU, and I mean, I know that word was kind of taboo around Baton Rouge for a while in fit, but I think Kelly, for as much as people tried to point out his accent and he may not fit in and he's not from here and all the things that, feel very easy to point out why it won't work, has really just kind of turned around and been almost the fuel to make this thing jumpstart as fast as it has.
I think he fits in perfectly.
Oh, you think?
Well, LSU you can get swallowed up by the beast that it is, and if Brian Kelly has the temperament and the brain to be able to handle it. You saw what happened when coaches that didn't really have a vision but slid into the job, and it's like, oh, it's easy. It's not easy to win here, but anybody can do it. And then once you get all of the ticker tape parade that comes with it, it's easy to forget what your job is. Mm-hmm. Brian Kelly's first and foremost the LSU football head coach, and all the trappings of success are not going to get to him. He just understands that it's also okay to ease into it. Like, you can be one of the people. That's what Louisiana is. You can be a part of the culture, but don't let everything around it swallow you up. Mm-hmm. And if he continues to do that, he'll be fine. Like, you'll win multiple national championships.
Oh, I think he sees that.
Right.
No, I think he sees that his style fits The players he needs are right there.
LSU's the crazy girl at the bar.
You've got all the absolutely. You've got all the money you need to attract the talented coaches. You got a buy-in of Bayou traditions for an NIL collective. I mean, it's
if you win, they will love you.
Oh, they'll build a statue. They'll have a name. Yeah, they have a street named after him.
What is it?
Or a
the
field.
Preseason
Or a
now?
court.
Is Alabama ranked 6?
I've seen a couple. So I've seen the post spring.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking
polls
about.
have come out, and I saw that LSU was 7 and 8.
Yeah.
In was it ESPN and CBS?
Yeah.
I saw CBS Sportsline and ESPN. Let me pull these up here. You got them? Got them?
And then Bama was 6, right?
Rattle them off, Stewie. Who we got here? Who we got?
Georgia at 1.
Which I agree with.
Michigan at 2.
Yeah.
Florida State at 3.
Okay, good. I love that.
USC at 4.
I love that. I love that.
That's your biggest rival.
Yes.
Jordan's, yes.
Yeah,
Ohio State.
we gotta kick that. We gotta kick that hornet's nest again at some point.
Ohio State at 5. Bama at 6. LSU at 7. Penn State at 8. Clemson 9. Texas 10. Tennessee 11. Washington 12. Notre Dame 13. Utah 14.
There's some crazy ones in here.
Oregon 15. TCU 16. Oregon State 17. Kansas State 18. Tulane 19. Texas Tech 20. North Carolina 21. Ole Miss 22. UTSA 23.
What poll is this?
This is ESPN.
Give me the CBS top 10. Who's the CBS top 10?
People were losing their minds on Powell yesterday about Alabama being 6.
Love it.
People were calling in. They're like, Nick's just basically done.
Absolutely.
And then the Bama fans would call in. How dare y'all say
No one
that?
ever talks
Paul,
about
you
the
don't know what the
tie.
hell you're talking about.
You trying to tell me Nick Saban don't know how to do his job?
Exactly. He's just fine. They'll be back number 1. Y'all see.
Tyler Buckner.
You tell me Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?
So CBS is Georgia, Michigan.
So Georgia won in both polls.
Yeah. Georgia,
Michigan 2 in both.
They were 2 in both.
Yeah. Back-to-back Big Ten champs, and they got a returning quarterback.
And Ohio State doesn't.
They were 2, yeah. Ohio State 3, Penn State 4, Washington at 5.
Well, they got their quarterback coming back. These are all quarterback contention.
Washington is not good. I watched them play. Alabama, Florida State, LSU at 8, Notre Dame at 9, Clemson to round out the top 10.
Alabama was
Where's USC?
7 in that one?
Alabama was 6.
Oh, still 6. Okay.
USC was 13 in CBS's poll.
I mean, all this is going to change.
Yes.
I mean, who cares?
Dramatically.
But still, it is interesting. Good for Tulane.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
No, Tulane's going to be legit.
Yeah.
Tulane's be
Getting their quarterback back.
Get the quarterback.
God, the New Orleans Saints fans are so mad they didn't draft Tajay Spears, but he didn't have it. If you read the medical report, he didn't have an ACL.
Oh.
It's hard to play that position for very long without that.
I love who they got.
Me too.
Same.
I love Kendra Miller.
He runs like a high schooler.
I mean, and he's pissed.
That's upset. That's gonna inject so much life into that room. Like
He wants Alvin Kamara's job.
and then you have Jamal Williams in there too.
Oh,
Like
man.
LSU. You might see the Saints kind of flip their perspective of how the offense works next year. They'll probably be more of like a run-heavy team if you're able to keep Kamara, like whatever that situation is, free that man. Whatever happened. And then you add Jamal Williams, and then you draft a running back. They're clearly trying to improve that part of their
Absolutely.
game because it doesn't feel like they can rely on Michael Thomas. You don't really know what you have in Carr. And then is Jarvis still a free agent?
I really don't know.
I thought he signed a 2-year deal.
I think he signed 2 years.
I think he's a free agent.
I thought he was
I'll check.
still a free agent, too.
Yeah, but I mean, just sign him for the vet men and get him to come back. Like, let Tyron talk to him and bring him. Then you have some stability at the wide receiver. And then who was the guy that popped up last year out of nowhere? Yes, like
that kid's. I mean, he's
that's a home run hitter.
Stud. Yes, he is, and I mean with Olave too.
Yeah.
Yes, like the Saints' offense has no excuse. That's why it was so frustrating to watch him last year because like you have weapons everywhere. What are we doing? Let's trot out Andy.
I saw something on Twitter last night. Jake Haener thought he thought he was getting number 9. I don't know why he thought that, but they gave him like 14. It was like somebody was like, "Bro, thought he was getting Drew Brees' number." They gave him Andy Dalton's.
You're not getting 9 at LSU, and you ain't getting it for the Saints.
Like, it's over.
9.
Speaking of 9, are we gonna do our throwback moment?
Yeah, this was supposed to be a segue into Throwback Thursday. I'm not sure what happened.
Typical.
Let's go for 2.
So every Thursday, we're going to introduce a new segment here, if we can remember it. It's going to be Throwback Thursday, and we're going to remember some of the throwback highlight moments in LSU history, not just football.
Not just football, LSU lore.
Right. Where are we starting, Stewie?
We were starting 2-point conversion, Alabama.
Oh, wow.
BK
Not that long ago.
Not that long ago.
A wheelbarrow after.
I have it on my Instagram, a different view of it.
Yeah, I still have the video.
But we went down to the field afterwards.
Did you?
Absolutely.
Well, Ron
Sophie
got
did
the
too.
video. I did not get the video. I was too nervous. I couldn't even watch.
That's what I was gonna ask, because I'm of the age, like I'm not a young person anymore. I guess I'm not of the era of like pull my phone out on the 2-point conversion.
Oh, I did. I knew it was coming.
I know, but I don't want to watch it through my phone. Like you have to look at.
I had to get it. I had to get it there.
I was like,
I know. I need to see it. Minority Report. Like I need to see it with my eyeballs, and I'll remember it forever.
I felt it so hard. I knew I had to get it on video, and I knew
Same.
David would cry.
Wow.
Did you get?
I don't know
the
why I
moment
said
hit.
that.
Did you play Sandstorm right after?
They did play that night, I think. But
in the stadium they did?
They do play Sandstorm still.
At
Not
LSU?
like South Carolina,
Sandstorm.
but yeah, they play it.
What is this?
What is Sandstorm?
Kind of like Ben Mintz remix.
You know that
I
song.
think they did play that, like in the fourth quarter. Maybe.
Yeah, they usually do at least once.
But she films David every time it comes on because everybody's going nuts,
Yeah,
and
he
David
hates
is the
it.
most stoic
You
person.
should have seen
of-
him. We do it with cowbells in Starkville when it comes
Oh
on. So
my
to the beat of the
gosh.
cowbells, you should have seen him when that one came on. It was like his personal hell.
I'd probably throw up. Honestly.
He almost did.
Honestly,
That is like a form of torture.
how many games do you make him go to?
I don't make him
Ah,
go to any game.
You're
and
making
the times
him.
that he's been have been LSU mostly.
Okay,
I mean,
that's
we
the
have
only
gone. We've
excuse.
gone to a couple others, but mostly
Shows up for the
it's
guaranteed
LSU
wins.
playing in Starkville.
Pretty much.
Oh, we're gonna win. Those Cowboys.
No,
I guess I'll go this weekend.
They don't clang for too long whenever I,
I mean, he
show
watched
up.
us beat LSU last time he was in Starkville. So
Whatever.
Was that O?
Yeah, who was
I
their
think they bust over like
who was
40
their quarterback?
he had a great time.
Was that 28? Was that
I think that was
2017?
Danny Etling.
No, I'm talking about from Mississippi State
Um,
because he was no good.
Oh yeah, it
Was
was
it Tyler?
Nick Fitzgerald.
Nick
Nick
Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald,
It was Nick. Yeah.
He
And
ran all over.
Ran
LSU.
all over LSU.
He
and-
did.
and
That was-
that's a fireable offense.
Was that Dan Mullins like last year at LSU? Oh, at
Anyway, let's
Mississippi
get
State?
back to the. I don't want to go through all this again.
Oh damn!
Let's just go back to the
Go
2-point
Dak.
conversion.
Go Dak!
I videoed it. I've watched it a million times. Shut up.
Go Dak.
Nobody likes this. Nobody
Dak.
likes talking about this.
God, they're on defense. He's not playing right now.
I mean,
Go Dak! that was that and the cowbell. Was that
Okay.
2015
Oh
or
my God! Wait,
with the
24 was that?
Brandon Harris year?
anyway.
Whenever he came back in, that
Go
was the
Dak.
Dak game.
Yeah, it was.
And Brandon Harris was what he needed one more play.
One more. They needed 3 more minutes.
Yeah.
Well, we were out of time.
Oh, Les didn't know.
Yeah. That was the fourth quarter?
Les was calling a play while he was shaking Mullen's hand.
We don't run that toss down.
The game's over. The game's
game is
over, you
over.
moron. The game's over.
Come on.
The game's over.
Let's
Get
go.
to your press
You
conference.
know, Malachi Dupree's a 5-star if you'd like to get him the ball.
Let's move on. People in the chat start to get mean when we talk about cowbells. I don't want that.
Go Dak.
Go Dak.
They love the Go Dak.
Yeah, they do. I wonder why. I wonder where they got that from.
Go Dak Express.
Yeah.
I think the 2-point conversion that Kelly called against Bama was the moment that became like his program officially.
Mm-hmm.
Like from a national standpoint. I think locally people had embraced and accepted Kelly as, you know, like he was here. He was the guy. Once that moment happened for Kelly, I thought he was no longer formerly Notre Dame's coach. Like, you know, that's how like people were kind of talking about him was Notre Dame's last coach, Brian Kelly.
Red-faced.
Now he was LSU's head coach, Brian Kelly, after that moment.
That's what made me think is I wonder if that was like somewhat in his mind of like this is a chance for me to make a
Absolutely.
statement
Well, I mean,
as
it's the same
not
thing-
just to win the
it's the
game
same
but
thing
like
Kim
on a
Mulkey's
national
thinking.
level.
Kim
Yes.
Mulkey, once she gets into the tournament and once she beats, you know, whoever, you know, a couple of you know, you win some of those games that you probably shouldn't have. I mean, what was the game that
Utah?
That went where the ball falls into her lap there under the goal? I mean, you know, you got to get some of those games. But after that, you're kind of thinking, well, now we're here.
rolling.
We're playing with house money. Like What happens if we win the national?
What happens?
championship?
Yeah,
What happens if we win the Natty?
What if
this
South
year?
Carolina goes down?
You know, absolutely. What if? I mean, I don't have to play South Carolina until I get to that game, so I'll worry about that
when I get there.
When it gets there,
It's a
But
future
I
problem.
just need to get there, right? I mean, and if I do, I'm so far ahead of schedule that
Lanyap.
Yeah, everything is gravy. I mean, I think Brian Kelly's thinking the same thing when they score that touchdown. He never even. I remember the cop standing right next to me said, "He's going for 2." And I said, "Not yet. Not yet. He'll kick it." And I looked down there and I said, "He's going for 2." He goes, "No, he's going for 2."
Yeah.
And I was
Get ready.
He never even thought about it.
He never took his team
He
off
never
the
even
field.
thought about
They
it.
didn't even leave
Saban's
the
the one that's that.
Called
Saban's
timeout.
like,
Yes.
Defense can't
I
get
mean,
lined
he's
up.
like, oh my god.
That's
this
why
guy
I
is-
got my phone out because Dave
This
was
guy
like, "Do you
knows what
think
he's
he's going to
doing.
go for 2?"
He
And I was
knows
like,
what
"He's
he's doing."
doing it."
And when I saw Bama like panicking on defense, I was like, "Oh shit, they don't know what they're doing."
You've never
Right.
heard 100,000 people yell "snap it" so fast, like, "Get a free play!" And
Oh, it
he's
was
like, "No,
unreal.
we're in the right
It was
look."
unreal.
Yes,
Like,
we got
I know
the look.
exactly what
We
play I'm
got
about
the
to
I
run.
mean, were y'all nervous? Do you remember how nervous you felt?
Oh, Katie.
I'm
my
getting
God, me
chills
too.
right now
I
thinking
told,
about
I
it.
told Ron, I was like, Ron, I can't even look.
I know.
It makes me sick.
Because
I know.
I mean, we've lost.
But as soon as he snapped it, it was open.
It was
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
you saw him come across a motion
As soon
again,
as
you're
he
like,
snapped
I know what
it.
they're doing.
Yeah.
It's the Lance Moore play.
Well, and you saw that play in the spring game. I'm telling you, Jaden Daniels running that RPO. You know it's coming. You can plan for it all week. You can have somebody defending it, but there are times when it's Shaq 2000. It's unguardable. You know what I mean? Like, and in the spring game, he pulled it down one time, and I mean, it was wide open because everybody had done their job and covered their spots, and Jaden Daniels was one-on-one with one player, and he
Opened
made
it
that
up.
player think he was going to throw it and got him off the ground, and as soon as he did, he hit the Jets, and he was gone. And, I mean, look, I'm all about keeping your quarterback healthy, but if that's what your quarterback can do, that's LSU's best play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the new age toss dive. I mean, you run that thing until just until you stop
I
it.
mean, Ole Miss last year, they
Yeah.
ran that play until they
Run
stopped
it again.
They
Run it again. Run it again.
Lead read.
Wasn't
Run
that the
it again.
moment? Like, if you watch the spring game, not this year. This year was, I think it's almost a tale of two Jaden Daniels. Like, when you saw him open it up in the 2022 spring game, like, you saw that one play, like, okay, I get why they brought him in here because it looked different. You're like, oh, he can go, and that's why they're playing him at quarterback. But then this year, you see him sit in the pocket and go 9 for 10. And like you could see the two different
progression.
emphases. Yeah, the progression is the best way to put it.
100%.
So I think you'll see a different Jaden, but he still has that in the back pocket anytime he wants it.
All right, Chris Blair is here. The voice is here. We will talk to him about the weekend ahead as they will be on the Plains. They'll be at Auburn. LSU baseball will. We'll also get some of his thoughts as LSU spring football wrapped up. Voice is in studio with us next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Come back with us as daily. We're brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group, Real Doctors, Real Solutions. Shout out to our friends over there, Charlie Harvey and Jason Ramazan. Chris Blair when we come back here.
Hey, Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college, for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, katie@jordyculotta.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Fourier Insurance Agency, established in 1946, locally can help you with any of your home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health insurance today. Give them a call, 225-383-0682, or log online to FourierAgency.com.
Hey, she's on her way up.
Hey, G, I got you something.
Hey, Coach. What do you think? Is this too much?
If you look good, you play good.
All right, then. Let's get it done.
Do you need your roof checked or just ready to get a new roof? Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal has helped over 10,000 customers with their roofs over the last 2 decades. Premier South employs over 300 team members in South Louisiana. They're accredited by the Better Business Bureau. They've been named in the top 100 roofers in the nation for a number of years. And Premier South has former insurance adjusters in-house whose job it is to help get all the insurance money you deserve. So go to PremierSouthLA.com for Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal and get your free inspection.
Premier South Roofing.
All right, welcome back here to a Thursday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. Shea Dixon coming through here with some recruiting news. So stick around. We will talk to him about transfer portal, high school recruiting, new coaches on LSU staff, where they fit in on recruiting, all of that. But every Thursday we talk to the voice, Chris Blair, as we catch up with Blair after another successful weekend for the Tigers as they pull the brooms out, get the sweep. They're taking off to Auburn this weekend, where Auburn did LSU some favors.
Yeah, they
last
did.
Weekend.
They did, man. It's another one of those SEC teams that you think you've got them figured out. I mean, you go back to last weekend. You think you got South Carolina figured out. You think they're going to be one of the teams to contend with for the overall SEC title, which they certainly still may be. And Auburn, you're kind of like, well, it's just not a great year for Coach Thompson and company. And then they go to Columbia and take 2 out of 3, which, as you said, helps LSU out a little bit. But also makes you a little concerned that it's you just don't know who you're going to get on a given weekend. But that goes to show you the talent that really is across the board in the SEC. Which, by the way, I'm glad you guys are back. I came over Thursday.
Dude!
I was like,
really?
I was like, well, there's no cars here, but maybe everybody walked. Maybe they rode their bikes.
I thought about it.
And then I thought, well, maybe I can just do the show for 3 hours. But I couldn't get in the door. But anyway, it is good to be back.
Nothing like the hospitality of the Jordy Culotta Show to one of their favorite guests.
At least, hey, Southeastern did us some favors.
I like the fact you did text me yesterday and said, we're going to be back this week.
Back.
Oh, okay.
Make good.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Didn't know you went anywhere.
Right. Man, I did try to slip that one under the rug. I'm glad you called me out.
Yeah. I did not know that.
All right, so LSU's pitching last weekend, I thought, answered a lot of questions.
That was the big takeaway for me. I mean, I hear a lot of people say, well, we struggled against Alabama. I mean, look, again, you may struggle the remaining 3 weekends against an SEC team. And Alabama's a good offensive team. A lot of people forget overall they were second behind LSU when it comes to team batting average. So it's not a bad offensive team. Now, they've had their struggles from a starting pitching standpoint, which we saw throughout the weekend. They had to make the change, which caused quite an uproar out here in Ohio when they made the scratch on the starter, for those that are into that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's right.
To me, the bright spot was, especially in Game 3, seeing Thatcher Hurd really kind of pitch the way, Jay Johnson has said that's why we brought him here. That's the way he pitched last year at UCLA. And then, of course, Javen Coleman. I mean, they're going to continue to ramp him up. I think we'll continue to see him get more and more pitches thrown, innings worked. And both of those guys, I mean, picking up the win and picking up a save, I mean, to me, I was like, this is where we need to be. Again, Paul Skeens is Paul Skeens. But, I thought back to last year. Last year, it seemed like every game we needed a bullpen effort and piecing it together, to borrow a line from women's basketball. You don't want to have to do that every game this year. But the fact that they were able to do it in Game 2 on Saturday, and come back from being down 5 runs and being able to pull all the right levers, hit all the right buttons, I thought Jay was masterful when he brought guys in certain situations that, again, when you've got the offense LSU has, you're never out of a game. You just got to, if you get down, whatever that number is, you got to keep it there, whether it's 3 runs, 4 runs, or in this case, 5 runs.
Our friend Hunt Palmer had a good theory this week, and I put a lot of trust in what Hunt says about the baseball team. And he said just that. He said he's not worried about the pitching because the offense is such bullies.
Yeah.
And that they will perform however they need to, and that's how good they are, especially with Dugas back. Like
one of the things, Jordy, to Hunt's point, and really I think people should take note of this, there was a time this past weekend where the Tigers got the bases loaded and they were trailing and they were trying to get back in the game. And you've got, in that inning, Dylan Cruz and Tommy White due up. They get up with the bases loaded, and both guys have the potential to hit a grand slam.
No doubt.
Both guys have the potential to hit a gapper to score or clear the bases. Those guys got up there in that situation knowing they needed runs, and they both, you can watch it, go back and look at it, they both intentionally worked hard. They spread out in the box and just wanted to put it in play because they needed a – and they're so skilled with the bat that both Dylan and Tommy went opposite field with infield single up. Dylan went just left of second base. Tommy went opposite field because he's the best oppo hitter I've ever seen. And they got exactly what they wanted because they needed they didn't need to try to bust one out of the park and fly ball out and get a sac fly. They needed to keep the outs away and drive in runs. That's how skilled these guys are. And that's why the offense is something to watch.
Did you have Jared Jones leading them in home runs, a true freshman at this point in the year? I mean, did you think that was possible knowing this lineup like you did?
No, I mean, I saw him preseason. Just, again, you take with a grain of salt. Again, he is a huge human being. That's why he's called the Bear. Right. Jay told me early on that what's impressed him most about Jared Jones is if there's one human being that spends more time in the baseball facility and in the performance center, it's Jared Jones than Jay Johnson, which I don't even know how it's physically possible because I think Jay lives over there. So you put the IQ, the knowledge, the understanding of the game, the fact that he's been able to really stay away from the breaking pitch, especially sliders where he was susceptible early, been able to kind of lay back, wait on the pitch a little bit, and he's got 2 guys that do it better than anybody I've ever seen in Dylan and Tommy. I mean, they wait so late on the pitch, they can read it and decide, whether or not they're going to pull the trigger or not and still have enough speed to put it out of the park opposite field. This is an amazing stat. Tommy Tanks has 16 home runs. He's got 9 to right field. He's got 5 to center field, and only 2 pulled to left field. His second left field home run was Tuesday night against Southeastern. And Jamie Tutko, who does an amazing job with all of the analytics for LSU baseball, I asked him, I said, Jamie, I can't remember the last time he hit a home run to left field, and he's only done it once. And that was with 15 home runs. Incredible. So, again, center field and right field. But Jared Jones, to the point, I think is just amazing what he's been able to do. And I think he's done a hell of a job at first base. He's made some really good plays and did so on Tuesday night to make sure they got outs.
How important is it to get Gavin Dugas back in this lineup?
Well, it's huge, and and he showed it. I know a lot of people thought maybe he wasn't quite 100% this past weekend, but he looked good on Tuesday, and he's just so good. I mean, he and Trey Morgan at one point, I mean, they were 6 for 6 in that game, and then that's setting up Dylan Cruz and Tommy White and the rest of the guys. I mean, when you've got the 1 and 2 guys consistently getting on base with what's behind them. Again, it goes to Hunt's point, your point, my point. This offense is something to watch. And this is a long season, and there are times in the past where you start football in September, early September, and if LSU baseball does the right thing like they did in 17, I finish up the end of June. Mm-hmm. I am truly upset that there are only 3 conference weekends left this year, counting this weekend, only 4 home games in the regular season. With this team, they are so much fun to watch. And if anybody has not had a chance to see them in person, again, you'll have 4 chances. I know there'll be postseason, but guaranteed 4 chances to watch this team. And if you love the game of baseball, you'll be thrilled to watch them. If you're on the fence for baseball, you'll find out how much you really enjoy the game. Come and watch this team.
For anybody that, I don't know if there's anybody out there, I haven't heard of any, but Jay Johnson's impact on the team every day of how good of a manager he really is. You see that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we had a little fun with him Monday during his weekly radio show because he got a little, what's the word, feisty over the weekend, with the umpires. There was a check swing that was fouled off the bat, and it really looked like he went around, which would have been a strike. They ruled it hit by pitch, and he came out of the dugout. I mean, he was very, very animated, and that's not something he typically does.
Gave him the hand wave.
Forget it. I think he said something to the fact on the show that the umpire said, "Look, I don't want to have to throw you out of here or something." He goes, "Well, don't. Just give me a warning." And that was kind of what he got. But he is so analytical. He's so locked into the game, and he can tell you so much about the entire lineup. That's what I love to do when I get a chance to be around him. I go, Jay, who are we really looking for in this Auburn lineup? Who are the guys that, they may be at the top of the stat line, but who are the other guys? And he, right off the top of his head, he knows. And he's not, I mean, he always jokes about how occasionally he will let loose and celebrate a little bit, mainly when the game's over and they've won. But he's still not over the top. The guys are still like, come on, coach, come on. Yeah. But he's just so locked into what he's got to do. And it didn't take me 6 months after he was on the ground to realize this guy does nothing 24/7 but try to make LSU baseball better, whether that's the guys on the team, whether that's recruiting, whether that's keeping an eye on the guys in the portal. He knows about guys that are playing. You name a team, he can tell you probably the best 4 or 5 players on the team in Division I baseball.
His reaction of Travinsky's home run in Game 3 in Ole Miss was awesome. It was awesome.
It was the best. I told him that. I told him, I said, "Look, man, I knew.
Caught you.
I knew. I said I didn't know if it was fair or foul. I said, but I saw you, and I knew it was a home run.
We started a little segment this morning, Throwback Thursday, and remembering some of the major moments of LSU football. Obviously, you call, and we led this morning with the 2-point conversion in Alabama this year. I said I thought that was the moment that really nationally Brian Kelly became LSU's head football coach rather than former Notre Dame football coach Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
What did you make that night did for his program?
I got to be honest with you, and this is completely inside baseball or inside football, if you were. Gordy was I heard you guys talking before I came in. Gordy was in the same position you were. He was not far and had watched as they set up for overtime. So Gordy does a good job of keeping his ear and what's going on. So as soon as Jaden scored on that first play, Gordy was telling us, we're going for 2 guys, get ready. Well, I got to be honest with you, I wasn't ready for them to go to 2. I mean, you go for 2. I mean, 100,000 people.
This game's still going.
You got the defense come back on the field, everybody's standing up.
I've only enjoyed one win over Alabama in my time here, and that was in Tuscaloosa, which, by the way, was great. But it's not like beating them at Tiger Stadium with that kind of crowd, that kind of atmosphere. I was like, I don't know that I'm ready for this. Slow down. And thank God Nick Saban called timeout. So he gave him timeout, and it gave me a chance to take a breath, set the table, look at my charts. I mean, I was really like, I'm going to screw this call up if they go straight into it. Because, again, I would have been screaming like I'd been stabbed if they'd have scored.
They're going for 2, Doug.
What happened? I don't know.
I have no idea what happened.
Jack Hunt scored.
Nick Saban calling timeout. Thank Coach for doing that, because it allowed us in the booth to settle everything. Because Gordy was confident about it, and he was sure they were going to do it. I remember Jim Nickel gave me a look. Our spotter was like, "Wait, is he serious?" And I know Doug was a little, flummoxed by it a little bit. So the truth is, it was good. We got the timeout, and then for them to stick with it and go with it, and then just punch it in there. They go to the freshman. It's a play that Alabama had been stuck with before, a la Clemson, and a play that we had run multiple times successfully. And I think the confusion of them not having guys off the field, I think it was a perfect storm. But to your point, I think it got rid of Brian Kelly a fit.
Right.
He fit pretty good that Saturday night. And not just here in Baton Rouge, but I think to your point, absolutely, that was no more. It's Notre Dame's coach. It was LSU's coach.
He's not checking at the poker table. How about I'm all in?
Yeah.
All in.
I mean, and how legendary will that be 30 years from now?
Oh,
Lord.
That you just said, you know what, we're done playing. Let's do this.
His first shot at him, he lined up and went for 2 on him. He said earlier this week that's what he loves about being down here, and I don't think that he.
No, he didn't. Everybody immediately said, "Ooh, throwing shade." I'm like, "Why? Why would you not celebrate and enjoying that? Who didn't enjoy
I wear shorts
it?
to work
Except for
now. You know what I mean?
Alabama.
I got 5 stars that are 20 minutes from my door now. This place is. I think he looks at this place as kind of like
Nirvana.
Holy cow!
Yeah, I think he was basically telling people, I know you've asked me 10,000 times why I did what I did. Here's why.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. These are the reasons.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so on the Plains this weekend, and LSU, we mentioned, they got to start rattling off these wins, and they have.
Yep.
The last 2 weekends, they've swept. How important. You're catching Auburn at a time where Auburn's kind of feeling themselves.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a chance. And I love how Jay does it. I mean, he just says there's 3 SEC games this weekend. As opposed to we need, obviously he knows you got to clinch it. It'd be great if you sweep it, but he just doesn't use those terms because he knows how difficult it is to do that. He just wants to get 3 more SEC wins, which is key. When you look at the standings, I think going into this week, Bill Franquez blew my mind on the way to Southeastern Tuesday that we lead the SEC West, but we're a half game ahead of the
South Carolina?
Of 5 teams, meaning
meaning
that if we go down a game, we could go from number 1, number 2 overall to number 6. That's how close things are in both the East and West. Meaning that every game is monumental for LSU. It's going to be graduation on the Plains, which is probably going to be like the Morgan Wallen concert in Oxford. It'll shut everything down. You won't be able to move.
Let's hope the diplomas show up.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that is true.
Come to the SIP.
Hope they only have 1 ceremony. That's the best way to do it. But, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting park. Jay's never played there. I talked to him about it Monday. I said it's one of the more unique parks. I think it's 313 or 314 down the left line, but you got the little mini monster to deal with. It's a little short to center compared to the box. It's 385, and then I think 331 down right. I imagine with graduation, I imagine with him winning the last 2 series, there may be some War Eagles there at the ballpark. I hope there's going to be a lot of Tiger fans. I mean, it's one of the better road trips, to make a trip over to the Plains. But it's important, very important, and again, you want to see some of the guys you've seen the last week and even the guys we saw on Tuesday continue to pitch well out of the bullpen, because I think that's going to take it. I think you're good with Skeens on Friday, but I think you're going to need a team bullpen effort in some form or fashion in Game 2 and Game 3.
Because you saw Ty Floyd get visibly frustrated his last outing.
Yeah, I think the umpire got. I
think
it was between the ears for Ty, and I love Ty.
Yep.
But you could tell visibly he was upset, and he was a tight strike zone, and it didn't loosen up. I know it's easy for us to say, well, you got to adjust to it. But there were really some pitches that he threw. And, when you're a guy like Ty Floyd.
If they're not going to call it, he can't pitch.
Right. I mean, he's got good velo, obviously, with a fastball, but he's also got to place that. And when you get down in the count and you got to throw a fastball, And you don't want to have to throw it fat over the plate against an SEC hitter.
Right.
And when you're not getting the corners and you're not getting it up and down.
Especially up in the zone where he likes to live.
I mean, it's tough for him. But anyway, I mean, it's an important series. And, Auburn's playing good. It'll be interesting to see these next 3 weekends because I think 3 weeks ago we all would have said, "Oh, okay, good. We got Auburn, Mississippi State." But that's not the way it is in the SEC.
Right. Only one left is Mississippi State that looks like a for sure win.
Hey,
have a good trip.
Taxes.
Hey, man, good to see you. Y'all going to be back next week? I'm just checking in. You're going to be here next week?
We'll be here on Thursday.
All right.
Enjoy the view down the left field wall this week. All
right, guys.
Chris Blair, the man, the voice, every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
He's
here no matter
Almost
what.
every Thursday.
That's right. We'll be back. Shea Dixon is here. We're talking recruiting next.
Shea D.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression and anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done. Corrects done. Personal injury done. Workers' comp done. Truck wrecks done. Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done.
In 1975, Mike Anderson left the gridiron for the grill, opening a po' boy shop near LSU. If you're from Louisiana, odds are you've tasted a dish, experienced the tradition of Mike Anderson's seafood. 48 years later, the tradition of Mike Anderson's lives on with the next generation.
I'm very thankful. He's never allowed okay to be okay. It's a driving force for me to just want to keep it as good as he made it.
Mike Anderson Seafood and WAFB, celebrating the community. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show live here on this Thursday morning. Brought to you as always by R&B Builders and brought to you by our friends over at Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal. Get in touch with Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal today. Experts in roofing here in Louisiana. As you can get to them, Louisiana's premier roofing experts in quality and service online at premiersouthlA.com. No matter where you are, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, North Shore, or even down in New Orleans, you can get in touch with them. Online, easiest way, premiersouthlA.com. Residential roofing, commercial roofing, gutters and awnings, metal roofing. Get in touch. 8 years or older. If your roof is 8 years or older, you qualify for a free inspection. Odds are you qualify for a brand new roof. Let the professional jump up on your roof today by getting in touch with Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal. Let them tell you whether or not you need that new roof. They'll work directly with the insurance company to make sure you're getting all the money that you need for that new roof from your insurance agent. Online, premiersouthlA.com. All right, recruiting is in full swing. We go to Shea Dixon when we talk to recruiting. He was here last week. He's back here with us this week. It's always good to talk to the on-3 expert, Shea Dixon, weekly here on the show. Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Morning. Doing well.
Duty over there.
We had a poll question up. Was that this week or last week on the?
That was last week on the margaritas.
Missed last week's hit. Was it margaritas or was it
migraines?
Oh, that's right. It was migraines.
Migraines or margs.
Migraines or margs was the poll question.
That'd be a great shirt.
It is.
That would be. We
You're
need
welcome.
to get that done for you. Migraines and migraines or margs.
That's
what
you
wanna
do
say?
margs greater
maybe
than
you put migraines or margs,
Yeah.
and on the back you put both.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I like it.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that.
It was migraines.
Yeah, it was some very bad. Yeah, migraines. Bad headache. Well, I'm not a doctor.
Like
very
you
bad.
jerks,
Would you let me
I get
repeat the question,
migraines.
sir?
Very bad headache.
You could have pleaded the fifth on this one, Shea. Like, I would have just pleaded
Very
the
bad
fifth.
headache. That was not its spirit. You know, I did.
Flaming poop of the human response.
Dog ate my homework. What do you want from me? Leave me alone, okay?
I did.
Put this man on the stand.
I did recently.
Hold it.
I did not. I did, and I love.
doing great.
I love too that the one who's making jokes here is the one who responded like, "Man, I get migraines all the time. Don't worry about it." Like,
You do.
I was trying to get some
You
more
do
information.
not.
I do.
Supporting evidence.
Yeah,
Get the hell
well,
out of
that's
here,
what I was
dude.
gonna. I was gonna ask
The
somebody.
two migraine guys.
Get sick together over here, dude.
That's 'cause
Head hurts every morning.
You haven't changed your air filter in 3 years, Lloyd.
I don't think those are migraines, Lloyd.
We tell them you can't drink a fifth and not feel good in the morning.
Yeah. I did. I will say I did have a recent. Oh,
Oh
Look
my
at this
God!
guy.
oh sorry.
Is that
That's your
Sorry.
doctor for
Tell
your
him you got a
migraine.
migraine.
It's my mom.
Checking up on you because your head hurts. Honey, I made you some soup.
Tell him to
It's my
leave you
mom.
alone. Stick with the
It's
story of the
not attached to
migraines,
the
baby.
back.
Do you need me to check you out of school?
Yeah. Do you need me to come get you from Jordy's? I hear them right now.
Last week I heard that you had a migraine around this time. Are you feeling okay?
I will say,
I got a prescription.
This was not Superior. I had a restaurant-related experience where it's the first time this happened in Baton Rouge, where they came up, the waitress, towards, let's say about an hour and 15 minutes in the meal, and said, you're going to need to wrap up. This table has an hour and a half time limit.
Yes.
Turning tables.
They were turning tables in there, which I was not made
Bar
aware
rescue?
of before we sat down.
That's amazing.
It's like a picture today. It's like, we gotta
What
get
restaurant
moving.
can you say?
Now, see, I don't want to say. It could probably be guessed, but I mean,
Oh,
like,
I got it now.
It can't be your spot.
it is
No.
not. It
way.
is not
Your
Superior.
spot.
He's got a name. He's got a placard on for
No,
him.
no one's turning.
Just hold
tables.
tight because we might be in discussions with them.
Nobody's turning tables, but that had
But
never.
I do want to know off the air.
That
for
had never happened to me. In,
Shut it down.
For
Bar
real.
rescue.
Okay, can I get a to-go box?
Yeah,
then?
can I get
No.
a butt funnel?
Wait, they didn't give you a to-go box?
That was offered, but the other thing was 5 minutes prior to that, we had ordered some wine, like a bottle of wine, and then like she informs us like, "Y'all, we're like, what do we do with that?" She's like, "Oh, you can cork that.
You
and
do
take it
whatever
out."
you
Take
need on that.
That belongs to you now. I was like,
Hey, here's a couple of plastic cups for you too. We're gonna need
Exactly.
those glasses back.
I'd never had that
My uncle's
happen.
and copies outside.
It felt like L.A. or something. It
Yeah,
felt-
that does feel a very big city.
yeah. Baton Rouge on the come
Baton
up.
Rouge, very cosmopolitan of us,
Yeah.
right? All right, Shea, recruiting is in full swing, right? I mean, this is kind of big news. It's a big part.
Transfer
This is kind of like a
portals.
big time of
Poppin'.
the year. Speaking of the transfer portal, LSU is monitoring a couple of local guys in Logan Diggs and Keon Miller. Where do they stand right now?
Yeah, I guess there's a trio of them too, with Trey Amos coming out of UL.
That's right.
It's interesting we get into this back end of the portal, which Brian Kelly said would be a lot of depth pieces available. And I believe, a lot of the kids who were going to be trying to go start somewhere left in January, right? Or the first portal window, December, January. So a lot smaller number of kids entered this time, but it was like a wild final week and then wild final day before the portal ended because Logan Diggs went in, who came out of Rummel a couple years ago. And you'll remember LSU offered him, but he stuck with
Late,
Rummel.
right?
Yeah,
Was it
and
late? Yeah.
me and Billy were talking about it. We couldn't remember. Remember that year they didn't have any linebackers, and they're like, "Oh, he could also play some linebacker, because he's 6 foot 215." But stuck with Notre Dame, went and played running back, and he blew up this past season. I mean, he had 800 yards rushing, over 200 yards receiving, 1,000 all-purpose yards as just a running back. So I think he brings an element to the team that they don't necessarily have. Some guys can certainly catch the ball, do well, block. But I think I look at the outside looking in, other fan bases, maybe even some LSU, and are like, they got 6 running backs. Why would Logan Diggs want to go there? I just feel like you can point to something with all 6 of the running backs that makes you wonder.
I agree. Who's the guy?
Do we really have, or do we really even have 6?
Yeah.
2 true freshmen. John Emery's not even been with the team. Josh Williams, who is your starter, is coming off a knee injury. You only had 2 kids, all of spring ball. So I understand why they're going after him. 7 seems like a lot, but I can remember games last year where they were down to about 2. So, and I think they're in good shape there. I think they'll get that one done.
Right.
A lot of interest for him, though.
Yeah. And then others is a lot of people looking at Keon Miller, who is
Coleman.
Keon Coleman.
Yeah, he was at Opelousas Catholic.
Good Lord. Sorry, I'm brutal in the names. Brutal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sports show.
Yeah,
big sports show.
I love right when it came out of your mouth, Stewie just starts laughing.
Are we talking about Savion Smith again?
It's the second time. Savion Smith, Savion Jones.
What did he even say?
He said Jones.
Oh, he could be. Yeah, he's a player.
Was this you?
Caleb Stroud.
This was.
BK does that, though, a
I
good amount of times.
There you go.
Colby Richardson.
Thank you, Shea.
BK
You're in good
does
company.
it. And it's not even your team. It's just,
Not even your kids.
I mean, I don't even hang out with him every day.
I don't know this kid.
well, I appreciate, though, he'll say it wrong, and he made even click to him that he got like the wrong last name, but he just keeps going.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Just power through it.
You remember Les when he did the kicker? He was like, he's trying to think of who the kicker's name was, and he just like,
Domingue.
and he was like waiting, and he goes, the kicker. This is like, eventually gave up on it.
Just looked at Bonnet like,
can you help me out here?
throw me a lifeline.
Aaron Andrews?
That'd be something. Right?
Jesus.
Keon Coleman.
Transfer wide receiver.
This one's more interesting. So he was at Opelousas Catholic, which is what, 1A? I mean, it's small ball. So he had some wild basketball stuff. Above the rim player for sure. Was raw in football. He was a 4-star. He had probably like 30-something offers, but none from LSU. And that was the year they took Hilton and Thomas and Neighbors and Deion Smith, the number 1 player out of Mississippi. Jack Besh was in that class, I believe. Yeah, Jack Besh was in that class. So it was a stacked state of receivers, and Keon ends up going to Michigan State, played a little basketball his first year, didn't play any this year, but blew up this year with football. My question here from talking to people behind the scenes is, and coaches at different colleges, and they feel this out a lot. This is what you run into with transfers, especially like this. He's going into what could, is defined as a money year, right?
Uh-huh.
He's got draft eligibility now. He can enter after the year. He's coming off a year where he was one of the better receivers in the Big Ten, which has a tremendous amount of top-heavy, really good receivers between Ohio State and some other teams. Is he looking to get into the mix on a team where, look, LSU's going to compete for the West and the championship, all that. They've got 2 capable quarterbacks. I think there was buzz out of Michigan State that he might not thought the quarterback position was going to be enough to feed him and get his numbers, but are you getting numbers? I know Malik went over 1,000 last year, but like, are you getting numbers in this offense, or are you like competing to be a guy? Because I know I've heard people message boards be like, well, he'd be the 2nd best receiver on the team. I don't think that's true.
I agree.
I think Brian Thomas is. I think Tyron Lacey's come along. I think that a healthy Chris Hilton is a very, very good vertical deep threat. So
We even talked about where Aaron Anderson fits.
and Aaron Anderson, you've got Landon Ibieta coming into year 2. So like they're not incredibly deep at receiver, but now that you've brought in these freshmen, you've got Shelton Sampson about to show up. You've got Jalen Brown and Kyle Parker already here. So for guys who are like Keon Coleman, who are at the back end of their college career, you're jumping into the mix with like 7 or 8 dudes that you've got to really compete with. And Aaron Anderson did, but Aaron Anderson had also only played 1 year of football and he was a redshirt, so got a lot of time left. LSU is in it with Coleman. They've been talking with him, all that. I think he's visiting Florida State this weekend, which is a storyline given that they play them in week 1, and Florida State's been very heavy in the portal, just like LSU. No decision soon. If he's going to visit Florida State, he'll probably take a look at a couple other schools, and LSU will probably get him in for a visit. But that one, like, I feel good about Logan Diggs. I just don't know what Keon Coleman wants from his next stop, right?
Mm-hmm. What did you make of Trey'Dez Green's commitment?
It's big time. I'll say this, too. It was the most, like, efficient announcement I had ever. I thought it was going to be a whole, like, everyone's going to speak. You know, everyone's going to speak. The janitor's going to need 20 minutes for words. And he came out, Trey'Dez came out and hung out with the media before. They shuffled all the kids in, told them to sit down and be quiet. I don't even know they had to tell him. They just did. Got up there, all his family was there. They're like, all right, let's roll. And then he was like, all right, we're rolling 2 o'clock on the dot. He's like, all right, we're going to have about 5 or 6 people come talk. I was like, no. And then every guy got up there and was just like, proud of you, Keon. Love you. Then next person, I was like, oh, this is great.
Yes,
in and out in about 18 minutes, he got up there. He only did one trick. He did the Tennessee.
I saw the trick.
Then he gave up on the tricks.
Yeah, he's like, screw that, man.
LSU.
Can he do this? Can he legitimately do this at this level? Can he play both sports?
No video?
You know, someone had pointed out, I was looking at some Trey'Dez Green highlights the other day, and someone on the board was like, look, that's Mac McMahon in the background watching him. So, like, clearly they know who he is and are evaluating him. I don't know how high level. Like, I think he's probably like one of the top. Like, Jarrett Roser pays attention to a lot of the college basketball or high school basketball stuff in the state. I know he has his rankings and all that, and I asked him, and I think he said he was one of the top 5 or 6 guys in the state. I can't remember exactly what it was, but so he's talented. The reality is, it's impossible to do both.
I agree, right? I mean, think about the players that we've seen try to do this.
Marcus Spears and them
Michael
were trying.
Clayton,
Yeah,
Corey Webster. They went out for a week, and they all were.
And they were dudes.
Dude, were they dudes, man? I mean, Spears had a ride to Duke. I mean, it was. Robert Royal's the only one that's ever done it.
I was thinking of that. Who has done it?
And I
here?
think they gave Royal, like, he didn't have to, like, I think they needed him so much that they were like, hey, just show up for the games.
Yeah.
You know, like, they were like, or just, you know, in practice, they weren't physically using him. They weren't pushing him because it was such a physical toll on them. And it's a different type of shape.
And
right?
it's the reality of not being able to also even be with the basketball team until, like, SEC play. It's like January or whatever. You know, you're not.
Right.
You ain't Dion. You're not hopping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
back, back and back. Right. So then you don't join the team till January. Then you haven't been practicing with him and all that. So I would think it's tough. But
both of them need them.
The options
you know,
there.
like, that's the deal.
Well, that's the other thing too, right? If the basketball roster could take, you know, if you're on campus and not on scholarship with them, come on.
I mean,
if you can play,
that might be one of his best options. What do you make of Jimmy Lindsey, the new defensive line coach? How is he in recruiting? I know that he's been the lead recruiter on some guys that have South Carolina high on their list.
Yeah, next year the number 1 player in the country is a D lineman, and he's visited South Carolina a few times because of Jimmy Lindsey. He's out of Atlanta actually, and everyone I talked to said, yeah, Jimmy Lindsey was a big reason there. Everyone was kind of like, well, why is this dude all over South Carolina? I'll say that I talked to a few people over there on the ground who've dealt with him, spent time around him. One, they said that he'll blend right in with the staff. One of those guys who gets along with everybody, no drama, you know, there to do his job, coach up the kids, recruit, that's it. So from that level, you're good. You're not bringing anybody in who's, you know, got a big head. I think that, I say this too, and I think we all agree, we don't know how to judge a hire on-field or recruiting until we see a year's worth of work, right? Or a season, a recruiting cycle, those things. Like, it's impossible to say because recruiting to LSU is different than recruiting to South Carolina. You'll have a bigger pool of kids. You've got more kind of credit when you wear those 3 letters than you do right now with South Carolina football.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll reserve judgment on recruiting and just how he coaches them up. But from people at South Carolina, they said, look, the run defense was very bad at South Carolina this year. But then all 3 people I talked to said, okay, is that a player thing? Is that a scheme? Is that a technique? Is that a D-line coach? Is that the linebacker coach? Is that the D? Like, as always, with anything that involves the actual game, there's a million things to point to, right? Like even with Brian Polian and special teams, he can't catch it. Like I get that aspect of it, right? So you'd want to hope that the run game is solid defensively, but they said that it is very well known that the kids in the room, all of them, recruits love him, and he's very good at getting in on relationships and finding that champion of the recruitment or the kid and kind of locking in with them. Been at South Carolina a couple years. I know he'd crossed paths with Matt House, but that was 15 years ago. But these coaches know each other, and the sense we got is that they had brought in, beyond just vetting people, brought in 4 or 5 people and talked to them and felt like Jimmy Lindsey was the one that they wanted to go with.
Dominic McKinley is
the number 1 player in the state.
He's the number 1 player in the state next year out of Acadiana, defensive tackle. How has the groundwork been laid there? And then I guess Lindsey's got to come in here and help close, right?
Yeah, he comes in and obviously makes his mark. But at the same time, you've got so many people from Frank Wilson to the personnel staff to Matt House to, Gerald Chapman, who was coaching the D-line behind him and interim at the time. All these guys are pitching in, area recruiters. So they'll be all over him. He's got a little brother who's really good too.
I love that.
Wow. Dylan Moses style. Next 2 are coming up. But I will say it's funny. It was Stewie, what was it, a year and a half ago maybe, before Danny Lewis then at Westgate, where the Acadiana, let's just say area, greater Acadiana area, like that was the one place that nobody left and was always going to LSU. Mm-hmm. Like North Louisiana, you lose some. Mm-hmm. New Orleans, you get Shaz and Aaron Anderson plucked out during a year where you're transitioning, but Acadiana was never that way.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, Danny Lewis leaves. Derek Williams out of Westgate goes to Texas without really even giving LSU much thought, it seemed. Now, all of a sudden, turn the cycle again, and the number 1 player in the state is from Acadiana. So it'd be interesting to see. They need to right that trend for sure.
Logan asks inside of the chat, #AskShay. Shea, what's the smoke on Xavier Atkins? Been to Arkansas, Colorado, posted a ton about them, and then moving to Texas.
Yeah, so he moved over to the Houston area for his senior season. He's been there already, and now he'll play his senior season there. He had been playing at Jonesboro Hodge, which is right on the border up there in North Louisiana. That's when LSU offered him all that. I think this is what sums it up for me. He's from Jonesboro. You don't get out and see everything that you're getting when now all these schools are after you. And remember, he had committed to Blake Baker at Missouri. Baker obviously had coached here as a linebackers coach and evaled the state and jumped on Atkins early, got him committed. But as soon as LSU offered, he'd flipped the commitment. But then I think it's still like, hey, look, I'm about to be a junior at the time in high school. I got 2 years left. I want to take visits. I want to see things. I want to enjoy this. So I put it more on that than him like actually wavering on LSU. And LSU's done a great job of keeping in contact with him. And from what I've sensed between the work Matt House and everybody else has done is that they're letting him have his fun and that they feel like he's solid until further notice.
He's a hell of a player.
He's a good player.
Hell of a player.
Which is why you don't just say screw it.
Right.
You say, oh, no. We are all over him.
Absolutely.
You brought up Polian. What happens to that position? Do they replace the general manager?
I wouldn't think so.
Really?
Because they have so many people, too, that hold titles of, like, operations and, assistant to BK, all these different things. Like, he's got all of that figured out. So, no, it felt like GM might have been like a placeholder thing for a bit.
I was going to say, it gives a lot of credence to what he was doing.
And then he goes and gets the job at his alma mater.
Need
so
you go down to the office.
What about recruiting coordinator?
It's Frank.
I mean, he'll take that.
I don't even know if it needs a title.
Yeah.
From what I've sensed now, BK has said, all right.
We get it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't overthink it, right?
Why?
Why? Exactly. 100%.
He's the most experienced person on the staff to do this, let alone he's Louisiana.
I mean,
Even if we were in Texas and you had the staff, you would still say,
Frank, go to Louisiana.
oh, we've only got one guy on here who's won National Recruiter of the Year like 4 times.
They were sending him to Georgia and Florida.
Just don't get it. I mean, it's. I agree. No title needed, but it's very clear.
It's understood. Doesn't have to be explained.
Yeah, right.
You're right.
What's understood doesn't need to be explained.
So, what about high school recruiting right now? Where is it as far as the calendar is concerned?
All these kids are starting spring ball, so they're out on the road right now doing spring evals. And I thought one of the most interesting things was last Thursday they started to get out on the road. Like, so they ended spring ball a week ago. Then this past week they had exit meetings with all the kids. Ended up having nobody enter the portal beyond Michael Doherty, which is great news for them.
Yeah.
And he ain't been with the team for months. But in the exit meetings Thursday, the whole staff assistants go out on the road to recruit. I can remember a year ago when they did this, it was, all right, boom, we're going national. This is the LSU brand. We need to reel guys in. This year, they spent the first 2 days, and every coach was in Louisiana. They hit over 120 schools. Now, do 120 schools have prospects for them this year? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But they might in 3 years, or they might in next year that a kid transfers in and pops up, or whatever it might be. And I think you just got to show every Louisiana coach and program that, hey, y'all are priority. And now it's multi-tiered in the reality of, okay, you've either got a big kid at your school right now that I'm recruiting, you've got a big kid for next year or the following year, you're going to have someone emerge and pop up, or perhaps now, just as important, you've got a guy that we want to show love to that we may never offer. But in 2 years when he hits that portal, we need to have a relationship with him, you, everybody else.
Golly.
So goes a little bit deeper now in terms of, I mean, think about it. Joe Fuchsia and them, like, they didn't offer, I think it was either Fuchsia or Greg Brooks, they didn't offer, but they had recruited him hard, had him on visits. So the second he hits the portal, he's like, I'm good. I know everybody there. Let's roll. So something to keep an eye on.
Colin Simmons seems like they're in a really good spot with him, right?
Tough to say, like, really good when you're talking about the best edge rusher in the country that's going to get courted by everybody. But yes, he has visited LSU now as much, if not more, than any other school. Texas would be the other. But then again, that's not too far of a shot from Duncanville. So he and his mom have made visiting Baton Rouge a big, big priority. They've made him a big priority. Look, I could believe LSU's the team to beat right now. I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. But
He's
boy,
so good.
if you
So
can
good.
go back-to-back years and get Deshaun Womack and Colin Simmons, you're in some kind of spot. And you want to get into Duncanville. Look, they've got Devon Keys out of Aledo, who Billy went out and filmed. He's a commitment linebacker for LSU. Went out and filmed their first practice on Monday. And Matt House was out there watching from the sidelines day one. Like, all right, because Aledo now, I think they won state. They have 11 state titles in Texas, which might be the most in the state's history, or at least for that classification.
It's the Permian Panthers.
And then Duncanville is they're about to reel off back to back. You know.
So they're sitting in a really good spot with their running back too, right? Caden Durham.
Yeah, Oklahoma and LSU are the two that are after it there. His mom ran track at Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's always recruited Duncanville, so they're a real threat. But it's been clear that Frank Wilson and the staff have made Durham the number one priority at running back in this class, and there is not a close second. Because look, we're talking about 6, maybe 7 running backs on roster this year.
Yeah.
Then in 2025, Louisiana's got the number 2 player at running back in the country, the number 6 running back in the country, the number 12 running back in the country, and that's just early rankings. So, and offers to all of them. So you know that this cycle, it's like swinging for the fences, and Caden Durham's that guy. And then they've offered like 3 other kids at Duncanville. So,
I mean, Duncanville.
You just want to get one. Just
loaded. Their unis are sick.
Yeah, clean.
Sick.
Texas money.
Shea, great to see you. It's a consensus. It seems like that people believe the migraine here. More people.
What did you take? What was your? How
more
did you
people,
heal yourself?
More people a little
Tylenol.
disputed on the hour and a half.
Oh, that's
dinner.
not. Yeah.
That part is absolutely true.
The
No,
latest,
they're saying it's a
the-
long
the latest
time.
Southern Eye Center poll question of the second hour went up over under an hour and a half when dining out. Too long, or we just put.
Oh, they're not
over
doubting
under.
my story though.
No,
the story's legit.
The story's
The
legit.
migraine is
The
definitely-
migraine.
Tylenol is not going to
The
fix
migraine
the
versus heavy headaches could be debated.
Yeah, very.
This story about the hour and a half
Absolutely,
is very
absolutely. Just not sure if they would have wanted to be the +1 couple with an hour and a half
is
dinner.
not long when you're at dinner with friends. Are y'all crazy?
Well, if you're delivering the second bottle of wine,
that's what it's a party.
Nearly
I didn't
83
say,
minutes.
I didn't
into the
say it
dinner.
was the second bottle, but you just assumed that right there.
Well, what are you doing for the first hour and a half?
He's just talking, just debating.
Loaded on water.
No, so
cocktails.
I would, but then in
You know
my,
what? Let's get some wine.
Yeah.
No,
2 bottles.
we got
Conversation's
we got
going.
8 minutes left. Let's get some wine.
Conversation's going nowhere.
Were y'all not spending enough? Is that what it was? And y'all
no,
were just getting
no,
water
that-
refills.
that-
and she's like, I'm done.
Keep the water and bread coming. If you
No,
don't mind.
no,
Right, exactly.
but it
You got any
also
crackers back there?
Wait for this parlay to hit.
Just a little butter
it was a
pats.
wild experience too. I love that I'm being able to speak on this because I was like, we're not going to tweet about this.
Go.
Like an airline moment.
Write an angry Yelp review, yes,
right.
but there
Give him a
was.
solo shot.
I thought that the service was so excellent because she was so present the whole time.
Oh, she was trying to kick
And
you
then
out.
I realized at the end she was just trying
she was
to get
just
us to
engaged
leave.
because she just wanted you to leave.
I was like, man, she is on top of it. Like, and then it hit me at the end. I was like, man,
She hates me.
Would you like me to bring your check now?
Yes.
She
No,
should've
we
told
were
you
actually
that when
thinking
you
about
sat
another
down.
bottle of wine.
we had just like gone out to dinner together and
You
were
think
just
strippers like you too?
trying to enjoy a night. But then now in my head, how it works, I'm starting to think of like that couple who goes out like once a year and they did it this night and like they're kicking them out, or like it's like their first date or anniversary and you need to get out of here. So I just found it to be
They should tell you that.
odd.
They should
That's
disclose
what-
that
Absolutely.
before.
We-
That's the
100%.
thing.
Oh, that would turn me off.
So
So
after
much.
this is
You need to tell them if that's your deal. Like
This is
tonight
how,
on a Friday night.
Can I leave a review?
this is
That's
how
what
Right.
she should have said.
this is how weak kind of I am about it. I was like, we're definitely saying something. So then the guy
Finish this bottle of wine.
the guy who initially sat us was like, one of the best tables in the house, sir. I was like, they're all the same. Like, thanks. So then it was like, well, this table needs to be up for like the hour and a half. I was like, well, we were never told that. So then I got him.
It's a star table.
But then he was really just kind of like a runner, and that was like probably like his pitch line. And now it's like it backfired on me. So I go into this
Makes
thing. I'm
$8
like,
an hour.
Go get Tom.
look, man,
Smoking a cigarette in the back.
and I hit him.
Tom, the guy at table 3
Oh shit.
wants to see you.
And I'm hitting him with the examples. I'm like, what if,
Shea from 1-3.
what if this was our first date or 1 year anniversary, or like the last meal we're ever having here.
If I was about to
It
propose
might
here.
be.
And
Last
I
meal
get
there.
through, like I propose all that. I was
Gonna
like-
get a migraine.
And I get through this minute rant, and he's like, I just work at the front. He's like, and so I was like, no, don't worry about it. I just wanted
amazing.
you to know. He was like, let me go. I think he said something like, let me go to the back and get like a real manager.
Oh
And I was
my god.
This guy.
man, look.
Hey, dude, you're talking to the wrong guy.
But he never interjected.
Buddy, I'm fucking
he
high
just
right now.
sat there and took it.
He's being
for
polite.
a
yeah.
Way
minute.
past my pay.
And then he was like, you know what?
Dude, I just gave you my best performance. I can't recreate that for the real manager.
He impressed you so well, dude. He's like, oh, I gotta talk to Tom.
Can you
He's
just
be-
tell?
best seat in the house.
Can you just tell Bill or Bob or whatever his name is?
I think at that point, like,
Verbatim.
when he even offered to relay the message, we were like, no, it's a.
Are you writing this down?
We need to leave. Like, now we're getting kicked out for sure.
Okay, sir.
Buddy, I don't even work here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just saw you and you looked lost.
So you don't know where the bathroom is.
Seat in the house.
It's the best.
After we
Shea
left,
took it for a gospel. Like, hell yeah, I love this guy. Knows
for
the
sure,
place.
I was like, this
Where's
way-
my boy at? He sent me.
Oh no, we did one of those, and I was like, I see him right over there.
Smoking weed off the trash can.
No, he was sitting somebody else. I was like, I know exactly.
In the
what
house.
he's doing. I know what this guy's up to.
Was
I
it
know
just-
your line, buddy.
Was it just the two of you, Shay?
It was just the two of us.
Okay.
Just the two of us. But an hour and a half is not a
Hour and
long
half.
dinner.
That's not a long dinner.
That's not long. It's
Not
not
really.
long enough to tell me to leave.
It's
No.
not.
I think maybe at an hour and a half you can alert me like
Yeah.
That would be
look,
like, would you like some entrees?
we didn't want to let you know, but there's a 2-hour limit here. You got
Yes.
30 minutes left.
Oh no, here's another part.
Well, they weren't closing.
No, here's another part.
But wait, there's more.
She said, it had actually was like less than that. She's like, just so y'all know, I got you on extra 15 minutes.
No, she did not.
But at this time,
No, she did not.
I swear.
Okay, that's
And she's like,
weird.
at this time, we're gonna need to have this
You
tape.
got 15
That's
minutes,
not
but after
right.
that,
I
you
was
got
like,
Could I put a quarter in here? Is the table shake for me?
You hustled. Like to get me something I didn't know was an option for me.
You're not getting extra money for this.
That's non-tippable. That's a non-tippable.
I normally don't kiss.
So that final 15 minutes was just spent between like both of us like
riddled with anxiety.
hyping each other up and then being like, no, don't. We should not say anything. We should just leave. Don't do it. And then we're like, yeah.
I'm gonna tell that prick that sat us. Where's Tom? There he is, right there.
And when Tom sat us, like. He was in a suit, right? No, he's not in a suit.
No.
He's not in a suit. It was not even that nice a restaurant. He was just dressed up very nicely. And I thought, this guy's like 35, 36. Then when I saw Tom again, I was like, this kid's 17.
This kid's 15.
He looks great in the dark.
The aura he had initially with the best table comment. He's like pulling out our chairs and everything.
His best work.
Of course he was.
Putting the napkin out. Ma'am, you look lovely tonight.
You must have like split an entree or something,
He's
right?
like,
I'm trying to get to the bottom
no,
of
it was not. We didn't order any. No, that was
Didn't
not
have time to
it.
eat.
We ain't even heard the specials yet, Tom.
Oh,
when I tell you the restaurant, it will only make it'll make sense, but it won't make it right.
Okay.
He ripped the tablecloth.
Is it gonna make it so funny?
I think then you just be like, I could understand why they're doing it. But
If Jordy had 3 guesses, could he get it?
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll let you guess after the show.
But a dirty little secret about specials at a restaurant is that that's actually they're not.
It's leftovers from last night, right?
It's the food that's about to go bad.
No, don't say that.
Yeah.
It is though.
Yeah.
Well,
it
we
is.
didn't
They're
get
trying
any
to
of the
rid
specials.
Trying to get rid
We
of
didn't get. Well, yeah.
So they were
Tom-
pissed about that.
Think about the clothing racks that are on sale.
It's special.
Well, no, but specials are usually more expensive than what's on the menu.
know, it's
when
a
they
dirty-
have something special, like we have a steak
Well,
special tonight.
I'm trying to sex it up for you.
Yeah.
Just
They
trying
don't wanna
make-
put
make you
clearance
think,
on
like,
the
I gotta
menu.
have it.
Yeah.
You know,
We
like,
want to make
And
it.
they're like, we got to get rid of it.
We don't want to make it sound sexy.
They
for
sold
you.
me a piece of fish at French Market Bistro Saturday night.
Oh,
that,
see,
like,
she outs people
I was so
Yeah.
sold
on the
on it.
daily.
Like they were like,
Jesus.
we have one left, and we haven't even ordered drinks yet. And I'm like, go put it in. And he
4 of
runs
them.
back to the kitchen, and we watch
Tom?
him back there, like putting it in.
4 of them.
And then the next
And then
10
the
people
next
that
4
ordered
dishes
all
that
had
came
them
out got
too.
fish.
Yeah, they all had it.
There was only one left, Tom.
I'm so
Guy just pulled up with a
offended
boat. It's the craziest thing.
Got a timeshare I can sell you.
now. I'm so
Highland
offended
Road's
now.
flooding.
There's only one left.
I was
I'm
just wait-
sold.
Was it
I
good?
was just waiting.
It was excellent.
Okay.
It was a piece of like king or a salmon from somewhere.
I don't think. I
else.
mean, that might not be true either.
That might be a
what
little
they
too rich
said.
for my taste. But
It
hey,
was great.
you know.
I
I
was
brought
just-
it home and never touched it again.
I was waiting for the kid to hit me with like, it's my first day, man. I'm sorry. I had Googled things to say.
Best seat in the house.
Best
Such
seat
a
now?
great line.
Famous things waiters say.
You look nice tonight.
Best things.
First time here, sir.
Let me give you the lay of the land.
Best things to say to get a tip.
Hey, look, I don't tell this to everybody. This is the best table in the house.
Brother, when I used to come here.
And anything to drink for the lucky lady.
Drinks are complimentary just because of me. I can get you. I can hook you up.
It was an experience. I'm glad I got to talk through it and didn't just pin it up.
He just talked about his trauma.
That's right.
Yeah, now I feel like I can go back. Before I was like, we're never coming back.
Tom, good to see you
When
again.
you go back, hit him with the Dumb and Dumber. Be like, hit him double. Like, we'll be put us down for a table for 4. Maybe I'll eat twice.
You gotta bring a clock with you.
Yeah.
Chess player.
Make it very.
How long should I set this,
Yeah.
Tom? The straight 90 minutes?
When does the clock start?
Are you buying me that extra 15 or no? I just need to set it.
That's amazing.
All right, have a great day.
Cork the line and get the hell out.
We will have Shea weekly. I don't know the day.
Yeah, we'll
but he'll
drop
be here
in.
weekly. Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday.
Tomorrow's Cinco de Mayo. Should we like drink margs or something?
I'm getting Cinco de Drunko.
Oh.
No show Friday?
It's early in the morning, y'all.
It is
Yeah, I
early.
said we
We
definitely
used
got
to
a
do it.
definitely got a morning drink for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to do it in the mornings.
Okay,
Come by if you want.
Bring some of that tequila.
I know I've invited Jacques tomorrow.
Also
He'll be here.
hungover.
And then
Yeah.
we've also got Josh Pate.
Doesn't
He's
seem
gonna
like
stop
it.
by.
Yeah.
He doesn't drink.
He's got
Definitely
the
not a
mysterious
marg in the,
no,
not a marg in the morning guy.
No.
Gotta burn these calories first.
No, there's at least 4 protein shakes. before.
Absolutely,
Good
dude.
lord.
You expect me
He's
to do
got
these
the
curls?
He's got the liquid chalice of
I don't know if he
mystery.
drinks coffee. I think he's told me before that.
No,
like,
he's
he
a
just
non-coffee
drinks, like,
guy.
water.
Yeah,
He's a
straight
me.
water.
And then,
He's
like-
a Mio
Just water?
energy
Yeah,
guy.
like Mio energy and water.
We got Mikey on the energy drink train, and it has been a disaster.
Really?
We flipped him from coffee, and now he's like, "This is incredible." And now he's like overloading on it, and his
Oh, no.
eyeballs are about to pop out of his face.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's an experience.
Back him out.
Yeah, no, but it's too late now. He's on the train.
I was off Celsius after like 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's on Celsius.
I went right
train.
back to Coke. That was Celsius. Celsius.
The original energy.
That's how you get a migraine too.
Good to have you back.
Yes.
Went right back to Coke.
Well, Cokes also
Great
have
energy.
like a third of the amount of caffeine that a coffee does. I don't drink coffee, and I didn't never realize
Wow,
that.
who's your guy?
So
It's 3 times the price, but a third of the caffeine.
got mine right here.
There he is. Breakfast of Champions.
My man.
Have a great day. Like, share, comment. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning, 7
You're
a.m.
in dinner for so
Guess
long.
the restaurant. Yeah.
Out of here. The Coke lover at table 1.
Can I get a small plate?
You never ordered anything.